Welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave, your go-to channel for captivating Chinese audiobooks. We bring you 2 daily uploads, ensuring you never miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned, subscribe, and let's dive into today's story. Chapter 551, Ice Blue Rune. In fact, there are also high and low points among holders. As a person who also has compatibility, say Orikido and the Ring of Contract have a higher compatibility. But Suwu, who has held the contract ring longer, obviously has a better relationship with Qiling. If Kido Sayori really did something small, the Ring of Contract would not help her. It would be good for her not to backstab her in battle. Next, you will be the adjutant of the Queen of Halloween, assisting her to build a space transmission network. Looking at Sayori Kido, who raised her enthusiasm in front of her eyes, Suwu handed it to the Halloween Queen beside her. Do it well, I hope you won't let me down. Separated from the Queen of Halloween, Suwu did not immediately return to the spiritual time room to practice, but walked to the plain behind. There, the huge cylindrical tower of the Sun Tower stands quietly here. Its overall color is black, and the tower is surrounded by circles of white patches. The black torso is covered with distorted runes. At this moment, these runes emitted an ice blue light, floating like cold jade. You're here. Seemingly noticing Suwu's approach, Ivy's figure quietly appeared at the bottom of the tower. She was wearing a red cheongsam and a pair of black high heels, exuding a seductive aura. Perhaps because she was too bored, she stretched lazily after she appeared. With her stretching, the red cheongsam fit tightly on her delicate body, outlining a seductive curve. Does it look good? Ai Wei suddenly asked. Of course it looks good. Suwu smiled, and his eyes fell on the ice blue runes on the tower without moving. The process of breaking through from the peak of the 7th realm to the 8th realm is a scene that has rarely been seen in the entire chaos for millions of years. Even I, after seeing this picture, would stop and have the idea of integrating myself into it. I'll take it as if you're telling the truth. Ivy glanced at him, without the slightest trace of trust in his eyes. Every 8th realm is perfect. They are existences that have reached the end of their respective paths and have been sublimated through the power of chaos. Jack, although the manifestations of strength vary, most of them can be omnipotent. Using one's own path and exercising almighty power, this is the 8th realm. The current Kang Yu is making a breakthrough in the tower in front of her and Suwu. During this process, the aftermath of the leaked energy formed the runes on the tower. Since the breakthrough has been initially completed, these runes with the power of the 8th level will give people an illusion of perfection with a trace of flaws. For ordinary people, seeing these runes will naturally produce the illusion that Suwu said. Some with weak willpower would even directly sacrifice themselves, turning everything in themselves into energy to become the ration for Kang Yu's breakthrough. But that's only for existence below the 7th realm. Such a situation would naturally not occur at the peak of the 7th realm like her. As for Suwu, silently glanced at the man beside him, Ivy looked away. In her eyes, Suwu's body was shrouded in a layer of mist. Whether it is realm or strength, they are completely impenetrable. How the other party will feel, what is thinking at this moment, she is completely unable to figure it out. The only thing she can know is that Suwu maintains a 3-point trust in her and has no hostility. Speaking of which, why did you come here suddenly? Looking up at the sky pierced by the tower, Ivy, who couldn't see where the opponent spread to even with his own strength, asked. Do you want to enter the Tower of Gods and Demons to check Kang Yu's situation? Chapter 552, The Stone of Enlightenment. You can understand that. Suwu stepped forward and walked towards the bottom of the Tower of Gods and Demons. Help look at the door, don't let other people come in and disturb me. I want to go in and take a look. Ai Wei expressed his thoughts. After being invited by Suwu, she has been guarding the tower for a while. After her long-term observation, she found that this well-known secret treasure of chaos was a little different from what she expected. Ordinary chaos secret treasures, at most, only contain a part of the power of chaos in the casting process, and can burst out part of the power of the seventh realm. Even a top-notch secret treasure of chaos like the Ring of Contract can only make a contract with a strong person in the seventh realm. But the Tower of Gods and Demons is different. This high tower can actually assist a peak of the seventh realm to break through the eighth realm. It is not to shield the breath of the breakthrough, and it is not to allow the breakthrough to have a comfortable environment. Instead, it is genuine, lowering the threshold for breakthroughs and increasing the probability of breakthroughs. When Ivy found out about this, she was shocked. If it wasn't for worrying that So-woo put her here on purpose to watch the gate, it was to test her attitude. She might have already tried to sneak in and explore the secrets of this tower. Now that So-woo took the initiative to come to open the door, Ivy would naturally not pass this good opportunity. "You want to go in?" So-woo stopped, turned around and looked at her. Just when Ai Wei thought he was about to say something, unexpectedly, So-woo nodded directly. "Okay, come on." Ivy froze for a moment. "Do you mind?" "It's nothing to mind." So-woo glanced at her. "You are a smart person. Since you are a smart person, you should know what to do and what not to do." He has already expressed his attitude. Even if it is an opportunity to break through the eighth realm, he can give it up to others. If Ivy does something stupid under this premise, it can only be said that he has misjudged the person. "You're surprisingly generous in some things." After understanding So-woo's meaning, Ai Wei followed the upper level directly. In fact, she also understands that So-woo doesn't trust him completely. This is a mutual testing process. If she makes the wrong choice, then So-woo may have to draw the real hole card. That unknown hole card that would give her a sense of threat every time they met. With the master So-woo leading the way, the two did not encounter any trouble along the way. 0. Seeking flowers. After passing through a maze with ease, the two of them came to a huge plain. The one in front is the screening trial, and this is the first layer of the secret realm of the Tower of Gods and Demons. He gestured to the monsters wandering in the former Fang Ping. So-woo hosts. This floor is mainly prepared for those higher level gods, as well as some special main gods. As long as you kill these monsters, you can get the Stone of Enlightenment. 000. Is the first floor an item of this level? EV narrowed his eyes. She used things like the Stone of Enlightenment a lot when she broke through to the main god stage. Naturally, she is well aware of the effect of this prop. Improve the user's comprehension and reduce the difficulty of comprehending the way of the main god. Not only high-level gods, but as long as they haven't left the stage of low-level main gods, they can be used. It is a very rare and precious resource even in chaos. If she remembers correctly, there are a total of 9 floors in the Tower of Gods and Demons. The first floor will drop this kind of thing, then the 9th floor. Come on! Just as Ivy was thinking secretly, So-woo's voice came from the front. Kang Yu is currently on the 9th floor, let's take a shortcut. Z. Chapter 553, Blocking by Chaos Order. The 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons. In the empty hall, a transparent altar exuding white light stands here. Above the altar, Kang Yu's slender figure was sitting quietly. She closed her eyes, and the white ice mist continuously emitted from her body. That is a terrifying mist that can easily freeze high-ranking main gods, freezing their souls and even their origins forever. In the icy mist, blue illusions loomed in the text. They followed the ice mist and floated towards the surrounding walls of gods and demons in 1 5 3 3 3, leaving a thick layer of ice on it. After an unknown amount of time, Kang Yu's eyelids trembled slightly. Slowly opening her eyes, she calmly looked at the two figures who appeared ahead at some unknown time. Has something happened? After staying on Ivy's body for a few seconds, her gaze finally settled on So-woo. Although it's a little bit reluctant, it's enough to unleash an attack comparable to that of the 8th realm. So-woo shook his head, there's no need to fight that hard. Kang Yu never told lies. Although this thing sounds shocking, she said so, it can definitely be done. But the price paid behind this is absolutely opposite. Everything is fine outside, I just came to see how you are doing. 99% converted. An ice blue rune similar to that in the ice mist, but somewhat different, emerged on Kang Yu's body. That is the ice rune that represents perfection, and it is the all-powerful talisman of ice. Under the cover of these runes, Kang Yu's body faintly emitted a chaotic atmosphere. Su Wu asked, how long will it take for the remaining 1%? I don't know. Kang Yu shook her head, the further you go, the slower your speed will be. After taking this last step, I feel like I can't go any further. It seems that there are hands pressing on my body, shutting me out. That's chaos order. Su Wu was not surprised by Kang Yu's condition. In the process of breaking through the 8th realm, the first requirement is to evolve one's own way to the way of omnipotence. With the power of one Dao, the effects of all Dao can be exerted. No matter how strong it is, as long as this step can be achieved, it means that the other party has set foot on the peak of the 7th realm, and half of the conditions for breaking through the 8th realm have been met. And the remaining half is to transform the body, evolve the original God body again, and make it a chaotic body that can freely control the power of chaos. This step is the hardest one. The danger of the power of chaos far exceeds any power. Even if it is the peak of the 7th realm of the main god, a mistake can easily be backlashed by it and turned into a part of chaos. In the internal war of the void, Su Wu helped Kang Yang take the most difficult step through the opportunity created by Macefield. Preliminary transformation of the body, a step from 0 to 1. But that doesn't mean that the road after Kang Yu will be smooth. Transforming the body into a chaotic body is equivalent to turning oneself into a small chaos, possessing the power to fight against the chaotic order in a disguised form. Even if there is no consciousness of its own, the chaos order does not allow existences of the same level to appear easily. This is the second hurdle to break through to the 8th realm 1. Blocking from chaos order. Today's Kang Yu already felt unprecedented pressure. She could feel that if she couldn't break through this level, the progress of transforming the body of chaos would be stuck at 99%. The last 1% will become her eternal checkpoint. Don't worry. Seemingly noticing the worry in the depths of Kang Yu's eyes, Su Wu raised his hand and stroked her face. With me here, you won't be stuck. Chapter 554, The Way of Omniscience. Kang Yu stared blankly at the man in front of her. Although it was just an ordinary little action, the behavior of the other party brought her unprecedented confidence. It was as if countless years ago, the other party would push her every time at a critical moment. This time, the other party stood up again. Ivy, it's almost the same. After comforting Kang Yu, Su Wu looked aside. If there is no problem, go to the 8th floor and wait for me. The next words, you are not qualified to listen to 09. Good. His eyes paused for a moment on Kang Yu's dissatisfied body with runes, and Ivy turned around and disappeared into the depths of the ice garden. She didn't try to win to stay. Kang Yu's current state, the aura on her body, the position and direction of the runes on her body. All of these things are remembered in my mind. Although there are not many things to see, it is already very precious to her. As for the rest, we'll talk about that later. Have you broken through? After watching Ivy leave, Kang Yu suddenly spoke. Well, a breakthrough has been made. Kang Yu didn't seem surprised to see it, Su Wu replied. Although it took a lot of time, it finally integrated omniscience and omnipotence. For him, the most difficult step is to integrate the way of omniscience and the way of omnipotence into the way of omniscience and omnipotence. As long as this step can be completed, there is naturally no pressure to break through the main god. Taking Su Wu as his own planning division, his current realm is comparable to the 7th realm of normal breakthroughs, and belongs to the powerhouse of chaos level. Congratulations! There was a rare smile on Kang Yu's 3-0 face that had remained unchanged for thousands of years. Even when she saw the threshold of the 8th realm for the first time, and then sang all the way to the present where she was only one step away from the 8th realm, she had never been so happy. For her, Siwoo's breakthrough is the most important. In this way, even if she fails to break through, Siwoo can still have enough strength to protect herself when facing the 7th realm. Of course, in Kang Yu's view, only the 7th realm is not enough. In the chaos, there are 4 8th level people. What are you going to do next? I am currently at a bottleneck in my breakthrough, why don't I give you the opportunity? Need not. Siwoo shook his head, I'm different from you, I have my own way to go. It's like Kang Yu used the power of chaos for the first time to transform her divine body to complete the step from 0 to 1. When he succeeded in integrating the omniscient and omnipotent way, he also completed the step from quinoa to 1. There is no pressure on him to break through the main god realm, it is a matter of course. More importantly, even the second sublimation, he directly completed half of it. Breaking through from the 7th realm to the 8th realm required 2 conditions. Develop the way of the main god to the limit, and drive the almighty power on one road. Manipulate the power of chaos, and transform the god into a body of chaos without being backlashed and suppressed by the order of chaos. And as the most special way, the 883 way of omniscience and omnipotence has included omnipotence from the very beginning. So for Siwoo, he is only one chaotic body away from the 8th realm. Actually, besides helping you this time, I am also preparing to make a preliminary breakthrough myself. P.S. Various things have happened recently, coupled with the fact that the author has been opening more, this book is often interrupted. PS2, I am also a little embarrassed about this, but there are only a dozen people reading this book in the background, and the income is not discussed. In order to spare time to take care of other books and handle family affairs, I can only choose this way. Here I say sorry. PS3, let me tell you in advance, this book is about to end, and after the end of the War of Chaos, it will be pushed all the way. Chapter 555, The Bell of Origin Awakens. The God Demon Tower is not an ordinary chaos secret treasure. Before reincarnation, Siwoo kept 3 whole cards for himself in total. Kang Yu in its heyday, the Ring of the Chaos Secret Treasure Contract, and the Chaos Secret Treasure Tower of God and Demon. Among them, the first 2 have already played a full role in Siwoo's growth path. The existence of Kang Yu allowed Siwoo to go through the early stage of development perfectly, and did not encounter any twists and turns in the middle. The existence of the Ring of Contract made it possible for him to master the way of omnipotence in a short period of time, and based on this, he forged the way of omniscience and omnipotence to complete a breakthrough. The existence of these 2 corresponds to Siwoo's early and mid-term planning. In addition to these 2, the Tower of Gods and Demons corresponds to the later stage, or the final stage of planning. But it is different from the Ring of Contract that has been sealed heavily to ensure that no one can take it away except yourself. From the beginning to the present, the Tower of Gods and Demons has not been restrained by Siwoo. Not only that, he even summoned the Tower of Gods and Demons every era to make it appear in front of everyone. As a cautious character, he would never show up if his subordinates could do things, and he wished to hide all his trump cards. Naturally, there was a reason for Siwoo to do so. After sleeping for so long, it's time to wake up. Let Kang Yu temporarily get up from the altar, raised her palm and knocked casually in the air. It's time for you to function, Bell of Origin. Boom! The dull bell rang on the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons. That was the bell that would ring only when major events involving the entire void occurred in the past. Counting the past 8 epochs, the number of times it has sounded has already exceeded 3 digits. In order to find the end of the bell, in the past, countless void native geniuses and even the evil gods of chaos have traced its origin. But without exception, no one has seen its true face. The reason is also very simple, the location where the Bell of Origin is placed is the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons. Since the Third Era of the Void, the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons has never been opened. Since they are not open, naturally no one will be able to find them. This original breath, is it Suwu? The mighty gentle aura that seems to be able to contain everything comes from the Bell of Origin. Perhaps because of just waking up, an invisible wave spread from the somewhat confused Bell of Origin, sensing the surrounding situation. In the next second, it withdrew its perception after completing the simple investigation, and focused its energy on the two people in front of it. I see, you succeeded. The sound of the Bell of Origin is full of emotion and wonder. The way of omniscience and omnipotence, I didn't expect you to actually succeed in reaching this step. Nothing to be proud of. Suwu replied with a calm face, hard work, talent, and even luck, all of these only account for 30% of the elements. From the beginning to the end, I have been standing on your bones, the king's, and this is the main reason for my success. No, you're too modest a county. The Bell of Origins negates Suwu's words. Compared with just now, her voice became unreal. As if many people spoke at the same time, the mighty voices echoed continuously on the 9th floor. We're just providing dead ends. The one who really finds possibilities in these countless dead ends is you. Chapter 556, The Inheritance of the Explorers. It's rare. Hearing the reply from the Bell of Origin, Suwu smiled. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to praise others. Because you deserve it. The sound of the Bell of Origin is full of joy. You fulfilled our long-cherished wish. Although the usual place to live is the Tower of Gods and Demons, the Bell of Origin is actually a secret treasure of chaos. Different from ordinary chaos secret treasures, the Bell of Origin is more similar to the existence of killing stones. It is a chaotic secret treasure that was forged and shaped the day after tomorrow. Its origin begins with a 7th realm who seeks omniscience and omnipotence. The opponent is not the first to explore this path. But she was the first one who decided to keep her comprehension and pass on this comprehension after her own failure. In order to ensure that there are no accidents in these 347 processes, the other party forged the Bell of Origin. Through the Bell of Origin, she copied all her own memories and perceptions into it, forming a virtual personality to act as a device spirit. And then, she died. The path of omniscience and omnipotence is an extremely dangerous path. Almighty power must necessarily involve the power of chaos. Even in the 7th realm, there is a risk of death at any time. Fortunately, she did not die after breaking through the 8th realm. Even if she fell in the middle, the traces of her in the secret treasure of chaos have been completely preserved. As the 7th realm's obsession, the Bell of Origins, a J, has 2 effects in total. Ability to resist attacks from the 7th realm and retreat. The ability to find the seed qualified to walk the path of omniscience and omnipotence. This seed may be an ordinary person, or an ordinary sacrifice, but the greater probability is the main god. Under the guidance of the virtual personality, the Bell of Origin established a cooperation with geniuses. Due to the failure of the ontology, the clock of origin is very clear that the currently stored perception is a wrong path. But that is not completely wrong, there are qualifications for reference and reference. Taking this insight as a cooperation requirement, the virtual personality signed a chaotic contract with many main gods. She provides insights about the way of omniscience and omnipotence, and the other party needs to infuse all insights and memories into the Bell of Origin before embarking on the way of omniscience and omnipotence. Just like the original forger, the possibility is passed on. 1, 2, 3. With the passage of time, the clock of origin has come into contact with countless geniuses. Among them, a very small part is below the main god, and most of the rest are the main god. Even in the 7th realm, she has cooperated with more than a dozen people. But unfortunately, all of these people failed. And the price of failure is death. If you are lucky, you will keep the next part of your soul and work hard again to complete the next reincarnation. If you are unlucky, you will be directly backlashed by the power of chaos, and the original source will be swallowed up. Among them, the most persistent person is the forger of the Bell of Origin. She struggled to rise 9 times, but ultimately failed. In addition to leaving 9 memories in the Bell of Origin, and incidentally supplementing the status of the virtual personality as the subject. The last thing she did was to find Suwu, who also had a peek at this road before the fall of the 9th world, and entrusted the Bell of Origin to him. Speaking of which, how is my body now? The bell rang again, and the main body of the Bell of Origin came out. If my main body knew about this, she would be so happy that she would jump up. It's not yet time. Seeing Qiling, who was exactly the same as Lian Qixi in front of him, Suwu shook his head. She needs to break through to the 7th level to awaken her memory. Chapter 557, Final Yan Altar. Have you reached the 7th realm yet? The Bell of Origin sighed. It's right to think about it carefully. She was able to complete the 10th reincarnation thanks to your help. It's a lucky thing to grow up again. I really can't expect too much. Do not worry. Suwu said firmly. Qixi has come into contact with the existence of omniscience and omnipotence 9 times. She can only be reincarnated successfully, and she is doomed to be extraordinary. And I'm still here, it's inevitable for her to break through the 7th realm. The premise is that you are still there. The Bell of Origin understood the underlying meaning of Suwu. It seems that you are really prepared this time. This time is the last time. My origin can no longer support me to reincarnate again. Suwu looked at the clock of origin calmly. The way of omniscience and omnipotence has been successful, and I will enter the 2nd stage next. Breakthrough to the 8th realm is to fight against the chaotic order. Once you fail, all traces will be erased. This time, do you still dare to help me? I've come this far, how can I turn back? The Bell of Origin replied with a smile. If my main body was here, she would probably say that. Let's begin then. Suwu looked at the altar below the Bell of Origin. None of the things placed on the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons is simple. The Bell of Origins is just one of them. The altar where Kang Yu has been sitting is the. Of course, compared with the chaos secret treasure like the Bell of Origin, the past of this altar is much thinner. He, Suwu, was forged from 12 7th level skeletons preserved by special means. The reason why special means are used is because the 12 7th realm members are all top experts in the 7th realm without exception, who have beaten the 8th realm. Under normal circumstances, those who break through the 8th realm will be wiped out by the order of chaos without leaving any traces. But by virtue of the special nature of the Tower of Gods and Demons, Suwu preserved some of their skeletons and blocked the perception of chaos order. Based on this, the item he forged was this altar. Chaos Secret Treasure Final Yan Altar. Judging from the name, it seems to be suitable for the Chaos Secret Treasure matching the Bell of Origin. In fact, the two can indeed resonate. 0. Ask for flowers. Boom. The dull bell rang for the 3rd time. But unlike the previous 2 times, this time the Bell of Origin activated its own power. 12 illusory figures emerged from the surface of the Clock of Origin. They are all 7th level pinnacles who have explored the way of omniscience and omnipotence in the past and finally disappeared. According to the agreement, before they ended their cooperation with the Bell of Origin, they all imprinted their own traces in the Bell of Origin. 0. Under the call of the Bell of Origin, the 12 7th realms who were no longer in this world, appeared again. Although they are just illusory shadows, they are still existences standing at the top of chaos. Every existence exudes an extremely terrifying coercion. Even if it is the peak of the 6th realm, facing this aura will be affected, and it will not be able to exert its full strength. Wake up, old friends! Controlling 12 illusory figures to stand around the altar of finality, after besieging the city in a circle, the Bell of Origin activates the power inside the altar of finality. The long-cherished wish has been fulfilled, and now is the time for you to burn your last will and face the order of chaos again. Door. Chapter 558, The Key Above the Eighth Realm. The mighty bell ringing echoed on the 9th floor. Under its call, the 12 phantoms stepped forward and stood completely on the altar. Like the mouth of an abyss, the invisible force turned into sharp claws, grabbing their legs and swallowing them gradually. 1, 2, 3. In just the blink of an eye, the 12 phantoms were swallowed up. The final altar was completely activated, and a grey mist that destroyed everything emerged from above it. 983. That is the power of chaos, the pure power of chaos that is greatly reduced in danger after purification. In the outside world, even if there is only a trace, it is a treasure worthy of a big fight in the 7th realm. But at this moment, these forces of chaos emerged from the final altar as if they didn't need money. The originally diffuse ice fog was gradually swallowed up, and the power of chaos gradually drifted to every corner of the 9th floor. Within the grey mist, footsteps sounded, and 12 black figures walked out slowly, appearing in front of So Wu. Those were 12 golden skeletons, all of which were engraved with wonderful runes. At this moment, these runes are constantly flashing, complementing the ice blue runes on the surrounding walls. Are you the all-knowing and omnipotent? The second skeleton from the left approached So Wu, circling him curiously. Compared with the usual way of the main god, it seems to be no different. It's normal. So Wu shrugged and replied casually, the way of omniscience and omnipotence is the way of accumulation and soaring to the sky. At the current stage, its biggest role is to save me the time of comprehension and skip the stage of omnipotence. You are all at the peak of the 7th realm, and have realized the existence of the almighty runes of your respective paths. Compared to you, my only advantage is omniscience, nothing more. You're quite modest. Laughter came from the skeleton. Since it has accumulated a lot, there is no big advantage at this stage. Doesn't that mean that its real strength must be in the 8th realm? No, for the 8th level, at most 1.5 levels higher than those few, that's the limit. Unexpectedly, So Wu denied this statement, the key above the 8th realm, this is the real function of the way of omniscience and omnipotence. I see. Among the 2 golden skeletons in the center, the one standing on the right suddenly shook his head and let out a sigh. Is the way of omniscience and omnipotence the key to break through the bottleneck of the 8th realm? If I could have known about this earlier, I wouldn't have spent so much time and energy on this illusory road back then. Ethereal? You may have got something wrong. So Wu denied again, the way of omniscience and omnipotence is indeed the key to break through the 8th realm. But, it is also the only path that cannot be mastered after breaking through the 8th realm. The reason? Another voice standing in the middle asked. Compared with the other 11 figures, he is the shortest one. But at the same time, he is also the one with the strongest and most conspicuous breath. The reason is also very simple. 0.4 The almighty rune imprinted on his body exudes the aura of the way of time. This is a strong man who has studied the way of time to the end. Even if I waited, I didn't break through to the 8th level back then. Why do you dare to assert that the 8th realm cannot sublimate its own way of the main god and evolve into the way of omniscience and omnipotence? Chapter 559, Power of Chaos Filter. Do you even need me to remind you of this kind of thing? The palm landed on Kang Yu's shoulder. So Wu pushed the girl who had not spoken all this time forward. Don't forget, how did you die? I see. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. No one who can stand here is a fool. After being reminded by So Wu, the 2 of them all responded without exception. Yes, the reason is actually very simple. The chaotic order does not allow the existence of equals in this world. From ancient times to the present, in the countless years, there are not many geniuses who broke through to the 7th realm. But those who have broken through to the 8th realm are still very few. Since the 8th realm is above, there is still the possibility of a breakthrough. Then the next step must be on the same level as the Chaos Order 09, or even surpass it. In this situation, the chaotic order naturally does not allow it to happen. Therefore, compared with the seventh realm, which can still move freely, the eighth realm is more restricted. Just using the aftermath of the breath of the head of the demon god, Yog will be chased into the long river of time by the order of chaos, and it will take a lot of time to wear it down. From this, it can be seen how well guarded the eighth realm is. If you want to break through this bottleneck, you must complete all preparations before the eighth realm. You're crazier than I thought. After sighing silently, the seventh realm of time replied. Since you are going to do such a crazy thing, you must be well prepared. There's no need to remind me, do you want to start right away? Let's start. Su Wu raised the contract ring on his finger, and shot 13 lines to connect himself with 12 phantoms and Kang Yu. Burn yourself up and become a part of us. In return, I will lead you into a new world. Then I look forward to that day. The seventh realm of time laughed loudly, and a colorless flame ignited on his body. Not only him, but the 11 phantoms around him were also burned by this flame at the same time. They are dead people, and what is here are just wreckage with partial memory of the body. Under normal circumstances, even if they do this, at most, they will return to their peak in a short period of time. Su Wu's real purpose is not to convert them into combat power to survive the Battle of the Void. The 12 people in front of him, without exception, all failed to break through the eighth realm. But even if they broke through, the bodies of these 12 people still completed a partial transformation, matching the power of chaos. Su Wu preserved all their bodies through the Tower of Gods and Demons, and transformed them into collectors and purifiers for the power of chaos. During the long years in the past, each time Su Wu was reincarnated, he more or less collected part of the purified power of chaos by finding loopholes. Store all these powers of chaos in the 12 corpses 090, and let the 12 corpses use these powers of chaos as specimens to automatically collect the powers of chaos for purification. Over 9 epochs of time, countless low-harm powers of chaos were stored in these 12 bones. Now under the intervention of the owners of the 12 skeletons, these skeletons began to move. At a gentle and slow speed, the huge power of chaos flowed into the bodies of Su Wu and Kang Yu along the silk thread. The final breakthrough began. P.S. It has been bad for several days during the Chinese New Year, so I sorted out my thoughts a little bit. After this restoration and update, it really won't be bad. I will try to finish it next month. Chapter 560, The Powerful Master of Truth. At the same time when Su Wu assisted Kang Yu to make the final breakthrough. Outside the void, 5 figures of different heights suddenly appeared. Still the same, nothing has changed. After quietly looking at the world barrier in front of his eyes, Yog raised his palm and touched it upwards. The barrier on the surface of the void began to vibrate, and cracks began to emerge centered on the position where his palm touched. But just when he was about to open a gap, Yog seemed to have sensed something, and suddenly took 2 steps back to open the distance. You came as fast as ever. You crossed the line. The petite figure of void consciousness appeared on the other side of the barrier. Just like the last time we met, she was wearing a black dress, her slender legs were wrapped in white stockings, and she stepped barefoot in the air. There was no trace of fear on her delicate face. It was as if the one standing in front of her was not the 5 seventh realms, but the 6th realm. I'll give you a minute. Void consciousness raised a finger and aimed at the 5 people in front of him. If you don't leave, stay forever. Arrogance. The Master of Truth snorted coldly, and walked up. Just because you are dragging this crippled body, do you still want to compete with us? What about your allies? Don't call them all. Void consciousness shook his head. I have no support. She wasn't lying. Su Wu and Kang Yu are currently breaking through. The Zerg Queen is also in the Demon Tower, waiting for Su Wu to come out. She is indeed the only one who can come out of the 7th realm in the void now. Is your brain broken? The Master of Truth narrowed his eyes, hurry up and call out that stinky woman Ivy. The last time I got the bill, I haven't settled it with her yet. She has other things to do at the moment. Void consciousness refused again and then reminded, you still have 37 seconds. Truth leader, do you want to hide until the end? As a member of the seventh realm, he naturally would not reveal his emotions easily. What was just revealed, and what was said, were nothing but temptations. Of course, he didn't believe that there was no support. In his view, the other 7th level battle forces in the void are just hiding and preparing some conspiracy. They exchanged glances with Yogg and the others on the side, and after confirming their thoughts, the hierarch of truth took another step forward. Since you are not going to call someone, then I will get rid of you first. In an instant, endless power spewed out from him, and the Chaos Origin culture covered him with armor. Broken lift. Like the truth of the world, the mysterious runes rushed towards the barriers around the void. Under the collision of this group of runes, the thick, Qianhao, heavy barrier that was able to temporarily intercept Yogg just now was punched out like a thin paper. Boom. P.S. It's outrageous to say it. After looking at the backstage, after so many days, a dozen of you buddies actually subscribed as soon as it was updated. I can understand what purification means, Doghead saves life. PS2, to put it even more outrageous, I finished 2 new books during the period when this book was bad, and after finishing this one, I will start a small account and start a new book, crap. Chapter 561, Counterattack of Void Consciousness. The gap was opened, and the truth leader and others would naturally not hesitate. In the blink of an eye, 5 people, including the leader of truth, passed through the gap and entered the void. Is it only this level? Little girl. A man with a height of 5 meters, a body as strong as a bull, and a man exuding the aura of a wild beast laughed loudly. His laughter was extremely penetrating, spreading directly throughout the entire void, making everyone aware of the arrival of this terrifying existence. If you only speak harsh words, get out of here. We are here only for the chance inside the void. If you are willing to cooperate, I will be generous and merciful, and I will save your life as the master. 30 seconds left. Void consciousness blinked his eyes, and his dark pupils were like an abyss, absorbing all the light. Final warning 190, please leave immediately. The ultimate creature raised its eyebrows, but was not provoked. After silently looking at each other with the hierarch of truth, a surge of blood suddenly erupted from his body. The mighty bells and drums sounded, which was the heart in his body was constantly trembling. Without any warning, he disappeared in place, appeared in front of Void, and swung his sandbag-sized fist. Boom! At the same time as the attack fell, a black energy shield took shape in front of the Void consciousness. The energy shield isn't thick, it's even very weak and transparent. In the face-to-face situation, the ultimate creature can even see the Void consciousness on the other side through the energy shield. But just such a seemingly weak energy shield blocked his blow. Interesting. The body size soared to 10 meters in an instant, and at the same time as the momentum soared, a ferocious smile appeared on the face of the ultimate creature. You like being a turtle, don't you? Then I'll see what you're capable of. The fists all over the sky fell hard, and each blow represented a serious blow from the ultimate creature. If it is said that the reincarnated strong Bart, who was killed by Xiang Qishi a while ago, came to the end of the martial arts, thus training a tough body, then the ultimate creature is a strong person who specializes in exercising the body and going to the end together with the physical body. Just like what his name implies. The ultimate creature, the ultimate life form. Flawless, no bugs. In the 7th realm, some people may be able to increase the physical strength to the same level as him, but they will definitely not be able to surpass it. His body represents the limit of the 7th realm. Now under the full blast, even the special shield made by Void Consciousness, Ajk, cannot completely intercept it. A series of cracks emerged and spread on it. In just 1 second, the black shield ushered in its own limit. Is that what you mean? Seeing this, void consciousness did not continue the countdown. She said what should be said. Since the other party never repents, don't repent. Boom. The black shield completely cracked, condensing the full blow of the ultimate creature and falling head-on. Just like everything in sight, all creatures in the world can find signs in this punch. These creatures are scattered everywhere, but they are tightly connected by a bond, bursting out with unprecedented power. If this blow is avoided, even if the void will not explode directly because the world level is high enough, it will still be affected to a certain extent. Either dodge the blow and expose the hidden secrets of the void. Either take this blow and expose the trump card of void consciousness. No matter what you do, the ultimate creature side will not lose. This is the conspiracy of the ultimate creature. But, facing the conspiracy of the ultimate creature, void consciousness made a third choice. Hit it back. Pity. Obviously he has lost all his feelings, but the void consciousness made a sound of emotion at this moment. Pulling out a black long sword out of thin air, she decisively swung it down under the suddenly fusing eyes of the ultimate creature and the others. Laugh. P.S. I have been adjusting my schedule for the past 2 days and helping the family run errands. When I am free, the chapter update on this page will be restored to 2,000 words. If I am optimistic, it will even end more quickly. Chapter 562, The Ultimate Creature of Rage. Golden blood swayed in mid-air, each drop containing astonishing energy. The alluring fragrance permeated the surroundings, and the tall figure of the ultimate creature receded in an instant. Holding the severed arm with his left hand, the ultimate creature stared at the black sword in the hand of the void consciousness, eyes full of confusion. That's something. As a strong man whose physique has been strengthened to the limit, there are very few in this world who can break his defense. Even if there is, most of them need a full blow from the 7th level to have a chance. But void consciousness did this easily with only one weapon. Not to mention the ultimate creatures, even the well-informed Master of Truth and Yog and others looked like they had seen a ghost at this moment. But the ultimate creature and the others were stunned, but the void consciousness that launched a counterattack would not miss this good opportunity. The figure disappeared in place, and she decisively seized the opportunity to launch a counterattack. A dazzling cold light streaked across the air, exuding the aura of destroying everything. The sound disappeared, and the movement of energy stagnated. Even the chaotic source text that surrounds the leader of truth all the time has dense cracks. And as the target of attack, the ultimate creature feels an unprecedented threat. But stop looking down on people. Pressing the broken left arm directly on the wound, the eyes of the ultimate creature that completed the repair in an instant stared, and the pupils became red. Black hair grows densely, huge horns and black wings rush out from the head and back respectively. This is the true serious state after he has put out all his strength. Don't take it too far. Brat! Do you think you can fight me with a weapon you don't know where to get it? Like an ancient demon god, black and red blood energy entangled around his body, and his scarlet pupils exuded a murderous aura. The size did not increase but decreased, and the ultimate creature, which had shrunk to about 3 meters, gathered all its strength and headed towards the black sword hammer. I will hammer off your weapon today to let you understand what is called the ultimate body. Boom! A violent roar sounded, and a terrifying space storm permeated the entire void. The collision between the top 7th realms is not easy even in a top world like void. In the violent shaking, cracks emerged in various parts of the void, causing various catastrophes. At this moment, a mighty bell rang from the depths of the void. 0, seeking flowers. Under the suppression of this bell ringing, the space that was still chaotic just now became stable again. Not only that, but the space where void consciousness and others are located has also been specially cut out and turned into an independent different world. The Bell of Origin. As an old opponent of void, Yog is no stranger to this bell. But at this moment, he couldn't care less about the location of the bell of origin. 0. Looking back to the frontal battlefield again, the void consciousness and the ultimate creature are colliding fiercely. In just the blink of an eye, the battle between the two completely illuminated the dark void. That is not the light emitted when the energy is used. It was the sparks aroused when the fist of the ultimate creature collided with the black sword, forming the ultimate physical light. In this dazzling light, the void consciousness wearing a black dress and the black sword in her hand became more and more conspicuous. Not quite right. A calm voice came from the side. It was a man wearing a black cloak to cover his body. After quietly watching the battlefield for a few seconds, he said in a positive tone. That sword is not a chaos secret treasure. Mountain. Chapter 563, Black Sword's True Face. Not a secret treasure of chaos. Hearing the other party's speech, Yog cast his eyes over. You sure? I said no, it wasn't. It seems that there is no doubt that it is no longer necessary to conceal his appearance. The hood on the top of the man's head was blown off by the shock wave, revealing a short snow-white hair. In the center of his forehead, a pupilless eye rolled slowly, meeting Yog's gaze. What, are you questioning my judgment? Yog shook his head. 940, of course I trust your judgment. As the leader of this operation, the other 4 people present were all invited by Yuge himself. For their identities and abilities on the surface, Yog is naturally very clear. Senior, who is currently talking to him, is from the Craftsman clan. Craftsman spirits are a special race. Often only when top-quality artifacts are born, will they combine the aura of the forger and the aura of the artifact, and will be born into the world. As a powerhouse in the 7th realm, Senior's foundation is even more special. He is a chaos craftsman who was born from the power of the 2 when a 7th level peak created the acquired chaos secret treasure. If there is anyone in this chaos who understands the secret treasure of chaos, then Senior is definitely the best. Since he judged that the black sword was not a secret treasure of chaos, it was absolutely not. But the black sword can face the ultimate creature head-on. If it is not a secret treasure of chaos, what is it? Are you sure you want to listen? The corner of Senior's mouth twitched upwards, revealing a piercing smile. I'm afraid that after you know the answer, you will lose the courage to move forward and can't help but want to retreat. Lost courage? Hearing Senior's words, Yog was stunned subconsciously. Not only him, but even the hierarch of truth who was watching the situation, and the last Grover of the 7th realm also cast their gazes over. In this chaos, there are not many existences that can scare them away. That thing, is it related to the 8th realm? Unfortunately, not. Negating Yog's conjecture, Senior didn't hold back anymore, and gave the answer straightforwardly. That's a 7th realm. Yog. Grover. Master of Truth. Do you not understand? Senior glanced at them and explained further. I didn't play charades. The real body of that black sword is a 7th level man. Of course, it is not alive, but has lost its inner soul and origin, leaving an empty shell of the way of the Lord God. Etc. As if thinking of something, the leader of truth suddenly widened his eyes and looked at the battlefield in disbelief. Could it be that the reason why the black sword is so powerful is because the opponent is burning itself? That's right. Senior replied, an empty shell is naturally not an opponent of an ultimate creature under normal circumstances. But if the void consciousness ignites that empty shell, using the flesh as fuel to completely activate the way of the main god inside the other party, that means that the ultimate creature at this moment is not only facing the void consciousness alone. It's void consciousness plus black sword 2 7th realms. More importantly, this kind of irreversible burning, the power that erupts is extremely terrifying. Even if the black sword 5.0 body is not complete, after such a wave of eruption, the power possessed by the opponent at this moment is still faintly above the 7th realm. This is also the reason why the initial blow of the black sword can easily cut off the body of the ultimate creature. It's really a big deal. Senior stared at the black sword with fiery eyes. Yog, after this battle is over, that thing will belong to me. Chapter 564, Grover's Intervention. If other people have no objections, you can take it away. Facing Senior's request, Yog did not refuse. Due to the particularity of their origin, each of the craftsman clan is a top-level blacksmith, and has an extremely fanatical hobby for making top-level equipment. On this point, even Senior is no exception. And because it was born from the secret treasure of chaos, the other party's interest in this aspect is even higher. A handle has lost everything inside, leaving only the way of the main god and the seventh realm on the surface. For Senior, this is an unprecedented forging material. If he uses it well, he can even use this black sword as the main body to create an acquired chaos secret treasure. Give it to him. It's useless to me. What I value more is the origin of the void. The Master of Truth and Glover agreed one after another. This is what you said, don't regret it afterwards. Senior laughed loudly and directly settled the matter. 09 Let's stop talking about it. Yog looked forward. Although I don't know where the other seventh realm of the void is currently hidden, I can no longer watch. No matter how strong the ultimate creature is, it is still within the scope of the seventh realm. Facing the combination of void consciousness and black sword, he is equivalent to fighting two seventh realms alone. Just as they were talking for a while, hundreds of scars had appeared on each other's body. And these scars, each exudes a terrifying black mist, preventing the other party from healing by itself. If the fight continues like this, even if the ultimate creature has other cards, it will definitely suffer a big loss. As the creator of the temporary alliance, Yog naturally wouldn't let this happen. Keep an eye on your surroundings and provide remote support by the way. If someone interferes, you help stop it. Invisible fluctuations emerged from Yog's body, and the human silhouette began to expand continuously. In just an instant, it turned into countless bubbles and surrounded the battlefield ahead. Is time and space blocked? Noticing the opponent's approach, the void consciousness, who was still fighting the ultimate creature, paused, and stepped back decisively to create a certain distance. But the moment void consciousness receded, a golden light beam passed through the bubble group first and flew towards her. The solid space barrier was torn apart, leaving a pitch-black scorched mark. In just an instant, it flew in front of the void consciousness. Arrow. Noticing the body of this golden light beam, the void consciousness directly swung his sword to chop it off. Boom! The golden arrow burst in an instant, turning into a pool of thunder and sealing the void consciousness in the center. In the thunder pool, heavy heads fell from the sky. The momentum was huge and terrifying, and the entire different space was illuminated by the thunder and lightning. With an unprecedented murderous intent, these lightning bolts condensed into a spear and flew towards the chest of the void consciousness. Seeing this, the void consciousness that had been saving physical strength through black sword fighting was no longer retained, and he burst out decisively with all his strength. With the help of the power of the entire void, her aura began to surge wildly, and black runes appeared one after another on her body. Raising her little white hand upwards, she grabbed the lightning spear and threw it towards the oncoming ultimate creature. Roll! The ultimate creature didn't dodge, and directly raised its fist to disperse the lightning spear. Then, he strode forward, and in the blink of an eye, he came to the front of the void consciousness and started attacking again. At the same time, Yog's body completely blocked the surrounding space. After cutting off the retreat of the void consciousness, Yin Huang's bubble group attacked the area from the rear. Are you all so serious? Looking away from the battlefield ahead, Grover looked at Senior beside him. At this moment, the other party was holding a golden longbow, and the third eye on the top of his head kept shaking, predicting the position of the void consciousness. There is no doubt that the golden arrow that produced a chain reaction just now was shot by the opponent. including the Truth Leader who used Chaos Source text to block this space a second time and suppress the void consciousness. Of the 5 7th players in the league, he is the only one who hasn't made a move yet. Really, it's impossible to be lazy in this way. Forget it, let's think about it a little bit. After sizing up the black mist on void consciousness, he looked around. Connection points, there are 10,000 in total. As expected of our home base, this layout is really enough. A dozen white light spots condensed around his body, and he controlled it to rush towards the surroundings. Bang! 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 As if some invisible barrier was smashed, crisp cracking sounds resounded in midair. And following his actions, the void consciousness who was fighting Yog and the ultimate creature only felt his body sink, and the power in his body began to decrease rapidly. The battle in the 7th realm is changing rapidly. Seizing this opportunity, the situation that was barely maintained at first tilted in an instant. The void consciousness was constantly suppressed by the attacks of the two, and the body kept retreating. The spirit of the world. Void consciousness glanced at Grover in the distance. The black mist is the power from the void. As the spirit of the void world, the void consciousness can naturally use this force to amplify itself. But in order to cut off this connection, the enemy must have sufficient awareness of the power of the world and be able to accurately find the connection point. To be able to do this kind of thing in her domain, only 810 has a world spirit who is in the 7th realm like her. Aren't you calling someone out? Yog's voice was quietly introduced into the ears of void consciousness. Suwu and Nyarlathotep, whose circumstances are unknown, will be ignored. The Zerg Queen and Kangyu are the 7th realm that the void side has already determined. But until now, these people have not appeared for a long time. This kind of abnormal performance, which has been hidden in the dark, made Yog a little worried, for fear that the other party would make a big move and kill them all. You have 10 seconds at most. Endless bubbles are constantly approaching, squeezing the living space of empty consciousness. Cooperating with the ultimate creature, he was going to force Suwu and others to come out. But just when Yog allocated part of his energy to prepare for the attack from outside the blockade, a strong sense of crisis suddenly came from the front. Yog subconsciously focused on the void consciousness. In the next second, the void consciousness who didn't know when to put on a black armor on his body stopped the movement of retreating. She held the black sword with both hands, and slashed at the ultimate creature head-on. It didn't even last for a second, and under the shocked eyes of everyone, the figure of the ultimate creature flew upside down. Boom! Chapter 565 Armed Form, severely wounding the ultimate creature. In the Tower of Gods and Demons, Suwu, who was receiving power, raised his head and looked at the battlefield where void consciousness and others were. Did you take out the skeleton armor just after the battle started? Let Ivy go. Kangyu, who was controlling the power in her body to break through the final bottleneck, opened her eyes and suggested. It's safer here, and ordinary people can't touch it. No, someone could still sneak in. Suwu shook his head. Don't worry, I prepared a lot of cards for Nana. As long as she is still in the void territory, even if she faces 5 7th level opponents at the same time, she will still win. On the other side, the battlefield that was still fighting fiercely fell into dead silence at this moment. After noticing that the ultimate creature with a huge bloodstain on its chest was lying on the ground and didn't get up immediately. Whether it is Yog, or the leader of the truth in the distance, they all chose to stop for the time being. After looking apprehensively at the armor on void consciousness, he had a thought and asked Senior, who was not far away. That battle armor is also the wreckage of the 7th realm. That's right. After recovering from the astonishment, Senior laughed out loud with joy. And it's not an ordinary wreck. There is a special connection between that piece of armor and the black sword. It is precisely because the two resonate together that the void consciousness can severely damage the ultimate creature with one blow without using the power of the world. Yog. I want that black armor too. As long as I have it, I will definitely be able to touch that bottleneck and create a top-level acquired chaos secret treasure. We'll talk about the spoils later. Yogg did not agree this time. A single wreck of the 7th realm is precious at best. As long as he spends a little time, he can also collect it. But 2 remnants of the 7th realm that are connected and can resonate, this is different. Not to mention anything else, even if it is used as a whole card, it is enough for him to compete with Senior. Boom! 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 Just when there was a private conversation with Senior, a huge roar suddenly sounded. Unanimously, everyone turned their attention to the position of the ultimate creature. Exuding a tempting fragrance, the golden blood, which is enough for ordinary gods to break through to the main god level, is continuously flowing from his wound at this moment. Coupled with the dense scars on his body, the first time most people see the ultimate creature, they will regard it as a corpse in terror. But for such a corpse, the aura is rising at an unprecedented speed. It hurts. Muscle tightening temporarily stopped the bleeding, and the ultimate creature crawled up from the ground in disgrace. How many years, since I perfected my body to the ultimate form, you are the first existence to hurt me so badly. The roar became louder and louder, it was the sound caused by the constant beating of the heart in his body. At the same time, the blood in his body began to flow rapidly at an extremely terrifying speed like a dam reservoir, rampaging through his body. The golden blood mist evaporated and rose from his body surface, and what appeared along with it was the aura that passed through the isolation of different spaces and shook the entire void. Since the body in the ultimate form can't beat you, then evolve again. Come on. Take out all your skills and let me see what cards you BD have. This madman. Seeing this scene, Yogg cursed in a low voice. The ultimate form of flesh corresponds to the limit of the 7th realm. If you want to evolve again, it goes without saying what that means. In this fierce battle, the ultimate creature is actually preparing to use the void consciousness as a whetstone to attack the bottleneck of the 8th realm. You got the wrong guy. On the other side, the void consciousness is also aware of the ultimate creature's thoughts. After looking at him calmly for a few times, her right arm suddenly plunged into the mid-air beside her. In the next second, she drew out a black knife. He holds a sword in his left hand and a knife in his right, and wears a black war box. The wreckage of the 3 7th realms resonated together, and the aura on the void consciousness surged again, suppressing the Beast King. Not enough. Glancing at Grover, who was not far away, and realizing that the power of the world could not be used in this battle, she chose the simplest and rudest way. He directly took out all the whole cards and faced Gang directly. OM. 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 With the void consciousness as the center, the mysterious fluctuations slowly spread to the surroundings, and small cracks appeared in the space that was originally blocked by the 2 7th realms. And at the same time when these cracks appeared, several black lights passed through the gaps, rushed towards the void consciousness, and merged with it. In the horrified eyes of the ultimate creature and others, the black light representing despair slowly dissipated. Instead, there are a few more black weapons of the same series with void consciousness on his body. Helmets, boots, arm guards, bracelets, rings and throwing knives around the body. Counting the 3 pieces of black armor taken out by the void consciousness forward, she is now wearing a total of 9 pieces of equipment. With the blessing of these 9 pieces of equipment, the aura that the ultimate creature has just raised becomes insignificant in an instant. Preparation is complete. After adapting to the violent yet gentle power in his lower body, Good Li Zhao, the void conscious eyes aimed at the ultimate creature. The afterimage flashed across the air, and the petite body of void consciousness appeared in front of the other party. One was only in the early 30s, and the other suddenly increased to 10 meters after starting to break through. From a distance, it looks like an ant attacking the titan, very tragic. But compared with this picture, the real situation is completely opposite. Boom! Accompanied by a roar, the ultimate creature that had just let go of its cruel words flew out backwards, and the aura on its body continued to slide like an avalanche. With just one blow, the ultimate creature that was also in the 7th realm was seriously injured. Next, it's you guys. Like a demon god destroying the world, the void consciousness shifted its gaze to the surroundings. In an instant, an unprecedented sense of crisis rushed towards the 4 people around. Chapter 566, The Price of Peeping. How can this be? As a deep-minded old fox, Yog rarely shows his emotions outside. Where did you get so many connected 7th realm corpses? And you used such a strong force, why didn't your body explode? Boom! What responded to Yog was a black light that pierced through the sky. In just an instant, the black light came in front of the endless bubble group. Accompanied by a violent explosion, a large gap was cleared out of the bubble group. Although in the next second, the destroyed bubble began to recover quickly under the guidance of the power of time and space. But more terrifying black lights kept falling at the same time. Under the suppression of this terrifying firepower, the power Yog can use began to gradually decrease, and he was also partially affected. You 3. Don't watch the theater there. If you don't do it again, the end of the ultimate creature will be your end. The thunder that filled the sky fell from the sky, turning into golden beams of light that fell straight down. The chaotic source text full of endless mysteries rises from the earth, turning into a cage and covering the void consciousness. Facing Yog's call, Senior and the Master of Truth responded immediately and started to support. But at this moment, the void consciousness that has drawn out its full 397 power, naturally it will not be afraid of this level of attack. The flying knives that had been floating around her body passed by in a flash, and the prison that had just formed collapsed instantly. Even the golden thunder that was approaching was cut off in an instant and vanished into thin air. While maintaining the attack on Yog, while offsetting the attacks of the 2 7th realms. Like an adult beating a child, the empty consciousness showed unprecedented suppression at this moment. Glover! What are you doing in a daze? Senior glanced unhappily at the allies who hadn't made a move yet. If you don't use all your strength to restrain that guy now, after Yog is defeated, we will only... Boom! The voice hadn't finished yet, when the explosive sound suddenly rose. Under Senior's horrified gaze, Grover, who was standing beside him, suddenly exploded into a blood mist and drifted towards the void consciousness, entering the black ring on her right hand. The second. After using the black ring to absorb Glover, who is also the spirit of the world, the void consciousness, whose aura has skyrocketed again, once again double-minded, controlling the flying knife. Next, it's up to you. In the chaos outside the void, one after another gaze passed through the mist, sea, and multiple barriers, and fell into the different world temporarily cut out by the Bell of Origin. They all came to the 7th realm with various ideas after receiving the news that Yog deliberately spread. According to Yog's plan, these 7th realms were originally used to deter the void, so that the opponent would not dare to easily try to break through the 8th realm's reserve combat power. But at this moment, these 7th realms at the apex of chaos saw unprecedented sights. How did she do it? A suspicious voice sounded out of thin air, asking the same question as Yog. That kind of power, even the ultimate creature who specializes in the body cannot bear it in the 7th realm. The void consciousness is just a world spirit, how did it endure it? Another voice replied, it may be because of the origin. The third voice sounded, origin. Is there anything incomprehensible? The answering voice replied again, just like Xiang, you can completely control the power in your body. If one day your physical strength suddenly drops, will you explode because the strength in your body overflows? That depends on the extent of the decline. Xiang Sword God thought for a while, so that's it, are those black equipments storing the power of void consciousness? As expected of the Eye of Truth, to be able to see through the truth in such a short period of time is truly well deserved. No, you are mistaken. The Eye of Truth denied, those powers were not originally void consciousness. Red Sun Sword God. I don't know the specific source, but in my eyes, the void consciousness itself has problems. The current void consciousness is not so much the users of those black equipment, but more like a part of it. Her own existence is the 10th item. In the depths of the chaotic mist, a floating eyeball emerged with strands of bloodshot eyes, trying to peer into the void consciousness. As if breaking through a certain barrier, his eyes came to the body of the void consciousness, and followed that force all the way to the source. After a while, relying on his own power to see through everything, he successfully arrived at the source. There, he saw a figure from behind in the light. Seemingly aware of someone approaching, the other party turned sideways and glanced over from the corner of the eye. 8th Realm. A simple swipe made the Eye of Truth feel unprecedented fear. He seems to have gone back to the past, when he thought that the world was invincible. He rashly peeped at the four supreme beings. An endless chill emerged from the depths of his soul, freezing his strand of consciousness instantly. Not only that, even the main body outside the void turned into an ice sculpture in an instant, exploded into ice powder and disappeared. The Eye of Truth. The suspicious voice of Xiang Sword God came from not far away. What kind of strange hobby do you have? How to say halfway, suddenly stopped. There was only endless silence in response to him. From the beginning to the end, he didn't notice the mutation that happened to the Eye of Truth. It seems that the Eye of Truth has discovered something good, and is going to take it privately after the battle. The voice that caused the problem at the beginning laughed lightly. Forget it, anyway, this time I plan to participate in it myself. If there is something good, it has nothing to do with me. Continue to watch the show. That guy Yog can't hold on anymore, he probably has to use the power of the head of the demon god. The Supreme One? Aren't you afraid of attracting chaos and order? Others are almost blown away by the void consciousness. How can they have the energy to take care of those things? That's right, it looks like we're going to watch a big show today. Haha. I can see that waiting for Wei Li, it's really not in vain to rush for so long this time. High above the sky, the lurking 7th realms chatted. Including the closest Xiang Sword God, everyone ignored the disappearance of the Eye of Truth. In their view, there is a high probability that the other party has discovered something good that can be bought, so they choose to keep silent. As for the fact that the Eye of Truth has died? Unless the 8th realm comes in person, it is impossible for someone to do this kind of thing quietly. But the 8th realm has come. Is that really possible? The 7th realm, who hadn't considered this option from the beginning to the end, either laughed or thoughtfully continued to watch the battle below. But they didn't know that it was at the same time that the Eye of Truth disappeared. A gaze that no one noticed quietly fell on top of their heads. Chapter 567, The Power of the Head of the Demon God. The one who was not afraid of death just now, 64 of them came in total. On the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons, Su Wu slowly opened his eyes. It's more than expected. It seems that Yog spent a lot of effort on publicity. What are you going to do about it? The Bell of Origin not far away asked. There are not many honest people who can break through to the 7th level. If you dare to come to watch the show at this time, you will basically make a move at a critical moment, or sneak into the void. If you don't deal with it as soon as possible, they will cast their eyes over like that guy just now. It's okay, it's all expected. If it was another time point, Su Wu naturally didn't want the unplanned 7th realm to jump out and make trouble. Each of this level of existence has the power to instantly change the situation of the battle. A momentary interest in making a move will cause a certain link in Su Wu's plan to fail, and it will take a few more steps. But now is different, the plan has advanced to the final stage. Feeling the unprecedented extreme cold power in his body, Su Wu turned his head to look at the blue-haired girl beside him. After borrowing the power of chaos in the final Yan altar, Kang Yu has initially broken through the bottleneck and officially started to advance to the 8th realm. Relying on the Ring of Contract, the top chaotic secret treasure, as the center, as long as Kang Yu does not take the initiative to refuse, he can use part of the power of the 8th realm. The gap between the 7th realm and the 8th realm is absolute. This point can be seen from the fact that the 7th realm can move freely in chaos, but the 8th realm is closely watched by the Order of Chaos. With the power of the 8th realm as the backing, no matter how much the 7th realm gathers outside the void, it will not be his single enemy. On the contrary, these 7th realms, which are not afraid of big troubles, will become part of the final plan. Finally, it's time to start. Looking through the mysterious aura wall of the Demon Tower, Su Wu looked at the sky above. I didn't expect that I would still feel nervous one day. After all, what you are fighting against is the Order of Chaos. The Bell of Origin replied, this is an existence that even the 8th realm dare not easily resist, and you have taken an unprecedented step. No one before. Su Wu shook his head, maybe. History has been buried at the end of endless years. All that remains is this tower of gods and demons. This thing should also be unsealed. Su Wu took out a silver ball of light. This is the origin of Time House. As one of the first hacks in his life, the Time House is also a rare secret treasure of chaos for him. Under its powerful function of conditional internal and external time ratio, Su Wu has cultivated in it for a long time. Let him save a lot of time to do other things in the process of growing up in this life. 18,2. Prior to this, most of the power of the time room was actually sealed to prevent unnecessary peeps. But at this moment, Su Wu, who was no longer worried about causing prying eyes, unsealed it without any scruples. The strong power of time spreads in the Tower of Gods and Demons, and the time ratio between the inside and outside rises rapidly at an extremely fast speed. 1 second outside, 1 whole day inside. Just in the blink of an eye, the exaggerated time ratio of 1:86400 was reached. Not enough. Su Wu stretched out his finger and landed on the source of the time room. The time ratio that should have reached the extreme, broke through the upper limit again. As a price, the power stored in the time house itself for countless years began to be consumed rapidly. According to this progress, the other party will soon enter a state of loss, and even cause damage to the source. It's really a luxury. The Bell of Origin complained on the side, if you let those 7th realms know that you use the top chaos secret treasure of the time system like this, I'm afraid you will go crazy. None of that matters relative to the outcome. After setting the time position and ensuring that Kang Yu has enough time to complete the final breakthrough, Su Wu pulls out the Dao gate from the side. You continue to look at Kang Yu, I'll buy some time. On the frontal battlefield. Solving Glover in the void consciousness, the channel that was originally blocked was opened again. With the help of the power of the entire void world, her momentum, which had already broken through the limit, went up to another level. Even if the ultimate creature returns to the battlefield with injuries, she is still an absolute advantage in the face of the combination of 4 7th level players. 0. Seeking Flowers. The petite fist that comes first hits the ultimate creature hard. The sword of finality falling slowly cuts off all defenses in an instant. While chatting and laughing, the 4 7th level people felt the breath of death. Yog. Why are you hesitating at this time? Not long ago, Senior, who had a good chance of winning and was talking about how to deal with the spoils, roared. Don't forget why we choose to help you. Yuge's heart sank, is there no other way? Including Grover, who was inexplicably swallowed by the Black Ring, the 4 7th level players he recruited were all veteran powerhouses. Even in the 7th realm, they are powerful existences in the upper middle class. Under normal circumstances, even if Senior and the others know the good things inside the void, they will at most observe secretly like those 7th realms hidden outside. Wait for the frontal fight, and then wait for the opportunity to sneak into the void to reap the benefits. But in the end, they still chose to ally with Yog. In addition to reaping more benefits by doing so, what is more important is that they have confidence in Yog. Unlike the usual 7th realm, Yog has a special identity. The spokesperson of the head of the demon god. As long as the opponent activates this whole card, he can summon a part of the power of the head of the demon god. That is the power of the 8th realm, and it is the absolute power that can sweep away all obstacles and directly counter the chaotic order. If it weren't for this confidence, no matter how arrogant they wouldn't be able to easily come to the famous void face jump output. You have 3 seconds at most. Senior's voice came from the front again. If you keep hiding it, Okay, shut up. The endless bubbles gathered and turned into a hole. All the power of time and space in his body exploded, and Yog condensed a silver key in midair. The head of the great demon god. The silver key turned slowly, and Yog sounded with a little panic. Your faithful subordinate, Yog Sothoth is here to call. Please lower your power and defeat the enemies in front of you. Boom. Big. Chapter 568 Suwu's Real Purpose. Accompanied by Yog's call, one after another mixed singing voices sounded quietly. Above the high sky covered with dark clouds, the ancient bronze giant gate emerged from the unknown space. Boom. Thunder, which was originally controlled by Senior, lost control at this moment and began to riot wantonly. A series of thunderclaps tore through the sky and illuminated the whole world. In the center of the light, the ancient bronze giant door moved slowly. In the next second, under the gaze of everyone, a 1-meter-wide gap opened from the inside to the outside. It worked. Yog's voice eased. Even if he crossed the long river of time last time and summoned the giant bronze gate to fight against the chaotic order in the past, he only borrowed part of the breath of the head of the demon god. But this time, he directly opened the giant bronze door, and Yi tried to use the power zone of the head of the demon god. The direct difficulty of the two is not at the same level at all. As long as the former is not afraid of chaos order, he can do it as many times as he wants. If the latter is not paying attention, even he will easily pay the price of his life. But luckily, this time it worked. No price was paid, no hindrance was encountered. The completion of the ceremony so easily made Yog feel a little unbelievable. Looks like luck is on my side. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Yog looked at the void consciousness that had stopped attacking ahead. Don't give up yet. Stop now and hand over your hidden secrets, and I can spare your life. Too confident is not a good thing. A voice sounded out of thin air. Even the power of the 8th realm may not be able to bring you divine power. Did you come out on your own initiative? Yog looked at the figure that appeared behind void consciousness. I thought you would hide until the end like in the past, not even coming out after the battle. There is no need to be so cautious. Suwu patted the head of void consciousness. This time is really the last, no matter what it is, there will be a not today. Yog asked, what are you trying to do? For so many years, I have been observing your actions. Reincarnate again and again, and grow back to the peak again and again. In this process, you have given up the power of the 7th realm at least a dozen times. Why do you have to go through so much trouble? Could it be that, doing this will allow you to break through to the 8th realm with 100% certainty? You don't have to tell me what to say. Suwu glanced at the surroundings. Since there are so many guests here, then don't hide, let's come out together. Boom! Terrifying majesty spewed out from Suwu's side, shaking the heavens and the earth. The space shattered in an instant, and dozens of figures appeared around without warning. This momentum, he broke through. No, it should only break through halfway. Interesting, half step to the 8th realm. It seems that Yog is not lying. The Lord of the Void has the opportunity to break through to the 8th realm. How to say? Don't worry, let's see what he is going to do. Countless thoughts flashed across the void, and many 7th realms communicated in an instant. In order to obtain the opportunity of the 8th realm, everyone united the front and set their sights on Suwu to see what he was going to do. I think you all want to know the answer to Yog's question just now. Slowly tidying up the wrinkles on his clothes, Suwu smiled and looked at the 7th realms around him. It's not a secret that needs to be kept up to now, and it's okay to tell you. Actually, before my first reincarnation, I was 100% sure to break through to the 8th realm. It's already this time, are you still going to fool us? A tall figure with crimson flames all over his body took a step forward, and said in a loud voice. Lord of the Void, tell us the truth about reincarnation. If you dare to hide even a little bit, the void will completely disappear from the chaos from today on. Ka. As soon as the voice fell, a terrifying cold air rose in vain. Under everyone's horrified gazes, the flame titan, who had been talking harshly just a second ago, turned into an ice sculpture, losing its breath of life. Well, I get really down sometimes or... Su Wu sighed helplessly, why don't you weak people always have enough self-knowledge? What gave you such courage? The realm of the 7th realm, the title of the strongest, or the whole cards accumulated over the endless years? Su Wu sneered, there is an 8th realm above the 7th realm, but even the 8th realm is so strictly guarded by the order of chaos. In such an environment, it's really interesting that you lost your sense of awe because of your temporary strength and status. This cold air. Right in front of Su Wu, Yog was not intimidated like the others. After carefully looking at the ice sculpture, he made a judgment, so that's the case, you haven't made a breakthrough. The one who is really breaking through the 8th realm is the Lord of Extreme Cold. You connect with her through unknown means, and the regiment will explode into a calendar area beyond the 7th realm. The response was good. Su Wu replied, that's right, I transferred the opportunity to break through to King Yu. Not everyone can use the ring of contract and the power of the 8th realm. Only I can stop you when you summon the head of the demon god. Even the 8th realm is surrendered. Yog's heart sank, and an ominous premonition arose. Not only because of the power that Su Wu has at the moment, but more importantly because of the 4.4 words that Su Wu just said. Since Su Wu had anticipated this scene, it meant that the other party knew from the very beginning that he would summon the power of the head of the demon god at this time. But if this is the case, why not find a way to block the news from the beginning? With Su Wu's means, he is fully capable of blocking his gaze in a short period of time, secretly helping King Yu or allowing himself to complete a breakthrough. At that time, even if he notices something wrong, it will be too late to do it again. At least not like now, there will be a large number of 7th realm to help out. Reminiscent of the process of summoning the giant bronze gate just now, without any obstacles. Yog seemed to have thought of it, and shouted out in disbelief. Your purpose, from the beginning, is to let me summon the power of the head of the demon god. Chapter 569, The Body of Chaos Order. What? The real purpose of the Lord of the Void is to let Yog summon the power of the head of the demon god. Is it fake? Even a lunatic would not spend so much time on such a thing. According to the Lord of the Void, he has given up the opportunity to break through the 8th realm to other people. Do you think this is a normal person? Hiss. What you said makes sense. The people in the 7th realm who had already been frightened by Su Wu's power exploded again because of Yog's words. In the different space above the void, their eyes on Su Wu gradually changed from doubt to panic. There is something wrong with this legendary Lord of the Void. Whether it's the words that were said at the beginning, or the news that Yog suddenly broke the news, it undoubtedly shows one thing. What the opponent planned was not as simple as letting his subordinates break through to the 8th realm. What the hell are you trying to do? 09. Inside the huge bronze gate, an invisible and strange force rushed out and attached to Yog's body. The flawless bubble continuously distorted at this moment, turning into a tall humanoid figure. Under the power of the head of the demon god, I am not much inferior to you now. Aren't you afraid that the confrontation between us will disturb the breakthrough of the goal of extreme cold? Su Wu shook her head, of course not, she is now the safest place in this chaos. As for what I want to do, don't you already have the answer in your heart? Summoning the power of the head of the demon god to fight will inevitably lead to consequences. The inevitable consequences. In the empty different space, the atmosphere fell silent in an instant. All the people present, none of them are fools. The instant Su Wu gave the hint, they came up with the answer. Chaotic order. As long as the power of the eighth realm is used, it will inevitably attract the pursuit of the chaotic order. In other words, the real purpose of Su Wu, who wants Yog to summon the power of the head of the demon god, is to seduce the order of chaos to sleep. Are you crazy? Of course I'm not crazy. Su Wu raised his head and looked at the sky that was quietly split above. On the contrary, I am at my most sane right now. Above the sky, the power of grey chaos flowed into this layer of space along the cracks. At the same time, a mysterious aura enveloped the different space. No one can touch this mysterious aura, and no one can stop the exploration of this aura. But everyone knows what this breath means. Chaos order has arrived. 64 7th level people gathered, and 6 7th level people fought with all their strength, and even summoned the power mirage from the 8th level. With so many factors gathered together, the power of chaos order dispatched this time will be much stronger than before. Su Wu looked at the sky leisurely. In order to control this force, chaos order will reveal part of itself. Boom! The roar sounded, and the sky that had been torn apart completely collapsed. Above the black void, a huge eyeball with a diameter of about 100 meters appeared in front of everyone. From the perspective of the seventh realm, this volume is not too large. Even a person who has just entered the seventh level can easily increase his body size to more than 10,000 meters. But strength is not based on body size. In front of this seemingly small eyeball, everyone present felt unprecedented pressure. Even with the exception of Su Wu and the strengthened Yog, the rest of the seventh realm can clearly feel the sense of death. This feeling is no stranger to them. When Su Wu shot, they had it once. It's just that compared to that time, the sense of fatality this time is stronger and richer. Lord of the Void. I am willing to give away all my belongings. The face of a seventh realm man carrying a bloody machete changed, shouted loudly. As long as you can keep me alive, I can even serve you for hundreds of millions of years. Another seventh realm quickly followed, me too. It can even take longer. Two of the seventh realms took the lead in speaking, and the rest of the seventh realms put forward similar conditions one after another. No matter what Su Wu is going to do, he will never die. Since the other party dared to seduce the chaos order, it must be sure to restrain it. It is better to surrender and live than to die inexplicably, and the accumulation of countless years is wiped out to make a wedding dress for others. The lifespan of the seventh realm has no end. At most, it will start all over again after 100 million years. As long as the strength and life are still there, everything is easy to say. With this in mind, most of the seventh realm present chose to surrender to Su Wu. As for the remaining small part, they looked at Yog. Although Su Wu's plan was terrible, this guy is also the agent of the head of the demon god. There must be strength, and a background must have a background. Cooperate with the other party, and there is also a chance for 407 to survive. What's more, Yog's situation is not good now. Cooperating with the other party will at most give away part of the property, which is much better than offering loyalty to Su Wu after losing all the property. But the small thoughts of this small part of the seventh realm have just risen, and the order of chaos has also begun to act. Above the sky, after the Eye of Chaos took shape, it aimed at Yog for the first time. This guy is the most dangerous existence among all the people present. Not only has a black history, but now he is trying to awaken the eighth realm, and has used the opponent's power to fight. Compared with it, even Su Wu, whose aura was a bit strange, was put back by chaos order. It took a split second to sort out Yog's crimes, and chaos order made a verdict in an instant. This dangerous element must be wiped out completely. The grey power of chaos continues to gather, forming a long arrow in front of the Eye of Chaos. In the next second, this long arrow burst out, heading straight towards Yog. Do you think I'm the same as that time not long ago? Facing this attack, Yog snorted uncomfortably, showing no sign of fear. Chapter 570 Chaos Storm. Yogg is no stranger to this attack from Chaos Order. Not long ago, when he traveled through the long river of time and space and was hunted down by the Order of Chaos, he had encountered it several times. It must hit, ignore defense, and the damage is extremely high, even the 7th level cannot withstand more than 3 arrows. Normally, Yogg is as helpless to resist this kind of attack as other 7th realm. But it's different now, with the strength of the head of the demon god strengthened, his strength is comparable to the 8th stage. Even if there is a big gap with the 8th realm, he still stepped into the gate with half a foot. It is not difficult for him to control the power of chaos on a large scale. The same surging power of chaos gathered in front of him and turned into a similar long arrow. Raising his right fist, he threw it towards the arrow handle with all his strength. Break! The long arrow shot out and collided with the attack, falling head-on. The power of chaos is wanton, falling on the different space. No sound was made, and no shock wave was formed. When the two came into contact, everything began to dissipate. Even the indestructible void was affected by this breath and began to tremble continuously. Is the famous Chaos Order only at this level? Yogg looked at the eye of chaos in the sky. It seems that I was too nervous before. With the power of the head of the demon god, he doesn't have to be too afraid of the Order of Chaos. You can even take the time to use the remaining power to stare at Su who is not far away. Not enough. As if seeing through his thoughts, Su suddenly shook his head. It seems that you didn't hear anything I said before. Yuge was taken aback. What do you mean? What I mean is very straightforward. Su calmly replied, I don't know the personalities of those 8th level people, but the main reason why they can't move freely is because they are guarded by Chaos Order. Being able to guard 4 8th level people at the same time, do you think you can compete with him just by borrowing part of the 8th level power? Even if the chaotic order that appeared today is not complete, it is still a chaotic order after all. Even if it is half a step to the 8th realm, it is impossible to confront it head-on. The blow from the Eye of Chaos just now was not an attack, but an assessment. Assess Yogg's current strength and end the battle with the least consumption in the shortest possible time. Struggle hard. Su raised his right hand. Your time is almost 5 seconds. OM. 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 As if in response to Su's words, the Eye of Chaos in the sky sprang into action again. Long arrows formed in the sky, without exception, they were all arrows of chaos that gathered the power of chaos. Only with this kind of attack. Yogg frowned slightly, and also condensed the chaos arrow. But unlike the direct attack just now, the chaos arrow condensed by the Eye of Chaos did not charge towards Yogg. With Yogg's position as the center, a total of 36 chaos arrows fell to every corner. An invisible connection rose between them, turning into a special enchantment, trapping Yogg. Oops! Yogg's heart sank, and the arrows of chaos beside him collapsed in an instant, using the power of chaos that formed them to form a spherical shield. At the same time, a chaotic storm that destroyed everything rose within the barrier. This is the ultimate blow that gathered the power of chaos from 36 arrows of chaos and amplified it. In front of this blow, the spherical shield made by Yogg began to shake violently as soon as it came into contact, and cracks continued to emerge. Hateful! Yogg's eyes widened angrily, and he burst out with all his strength to fill the gap. Su! Why don't you make a move? When I fall down, this guy's next target is you. Don't worry, I have a lot of backups prepared. Su replied with a smile, even without you, I can last 10 years. You? Yogg's unwilling voice stopped abruptly. Facing the impact of the chaotic storm, the defensive cover he made temporarily could not be carried off after all. The spherical shield shattered, and the terrifying chaotic storm fell on his body, drowning him. A few seconds later, the 36 chaos arrows with insufficient energy slowly dissipated, and the barrier disintegrated together. And the place where Yogg was originally standing has become empty at this moment. dead. It's hard to say. Yog is the seventh realm who masters the way of time and space, and there may be someone behind him. That's Chaos Order. Even if you have a backhand, you can't activate it. But Yog has used the power of the eighth realm, maybe the head of the demon god will save him. Hey? Look quickly, the bronze door in the sky has not disappeared. After seeing Yog's end, the seventh level people, who were already terrified, backed away and looked at the giant bronze gate in the sky. Logically speaking, after Yog, the summoner, died, this thing should disappear and return to its original position. But perhaps the death of the agent stimulated the head of the demon god, and this ancient eighth realm did not take back the giant bronze gate. On the contrary, waves of intense fluctuations are constantly coming from inside the huge bronze gate. It seems that there is an ancient demon, Li Qian's, god who is sleeping, and it is constantly waking up. The aftermath of the breath alone made the seventh level people feel a chill from the bottom of their hearts. Have you started yet? Noticing this scene, Su Wu showed satisfaction on his face. After sitting for so much, I finally woke up the other party. The next thing is to temporarily hold this guy up. Su Wu looked up at the Eye of Chaos in the sky. After finishing Yog, the Eye of Chaos kept lingering on the bronze gate and Su Wu. But in the end, its eyes did not fall on Su Wu. Perhaps in order to save time to deal with the giant bronze gate, it did not make any more attempts this time. 36 chaos arrows formed in an instant, falling towards Su Wu's surroundings to form a barrier. Facing the terrifying chaotic storm, face it. Chapter 571, Awareness of the Evil of Chaos. You really think highly of me? Faced with the terrifying blow that killed Yog in just a few seconds, Su Wu naturally did not dare to underestimate it. Turning his gaze to the silent void consciousness, he opened his mouth and gave an order. Nana, give me your strength. Void consciousness nodded, okay. Black light bloomed on her body. In just an instant, her figure disappeared in place, turned into a black ball, and rushed towards Su Wu. With this black sphere as the center, the black armor originally worn on the void consciousness fell on Su Wu together. The aura that made even the seventh realm terrified, and the crazy jump made it shake. Even the chaotic storm attacking Su Wu couldn't help but pause for a moment. Realizing that the situation was wrong, the Eye of the Void above the sky decisively invested more power of chaos. The chaotic storm, which was suppressed in the last second, instantly swelled to a higher level in the next second. The scene from the attack on Yog not long ago reappeared. 650 endless storms fell, enveloping and submerging Su Wu. Oops! The Void Lord is dead. What is this guy doing? Why can't even take a single move from the Chaos Order that he specially recruited? There's no way, it's Chaos Order after all. And compared to the attack just now, the power of this attack has been raised to a higher level. Hey, it's really not the eighth realm. After all, it can't compete with the chaotic order. This time it's dead. Damn Lord of the Void! Did you bring out this monster just to drag us into the water together? The seventh realm couldn't help crying out, and some of them even scolded Su Wu angrily. Chaos Order has never been easy to talk about. Whether it is the seventh realm or the eighth realm, in the judgment of the other party, they all belong to the category of moths. The difference is nothing more than the magnitude of the effect. In the past, most of the power was used to suppress the eighth realm, and Chaos Order naturally didn't have the energy to manage the seventh realm. But this time the seventh realm took the initiative to send it to your door, so it naturally wouldn't just do nothing. In the best case, he would be imprisoned in a small dark room by the other party. Just like the head of the demon god inside the huge bronze gate, he fell into an endless sleep. But just when the people in the seventh realm were mourning endlessly, a cold light rose from the depths of the chaotic storm in vain. Boom! Under the horrified gazes of the seventh realm, the chaos storm was cut in two together with the barrier. All the chaos arrows shattered, and Su Wu reappeared in front of everyone holding a black long sword. Didn't it work? Seeing the unscathed eye of chaos in the sky, Su frowned slightly. According to his prediction, this surprise attack should be able to hurt the eye of chaos. But in reality, he was easily stopped by the opponent. Among them, there is of course the reason for the extremely strong strength of the eye of chaos. But more importantly, he missed. But this is also impossible. The black armor on his body is made from the remains of his past reincarnations. Even the consciousness of void broke through the 30th realm after accepting the inheritance of power from one of his lifetimes. In other words, the black weapons, including void consciousness, are all artificially made by others. The purpose is to allow myself to gather the strength of the past and part of the chaos order to fight, HB, before breaking through to the 8th realm. But in order to prevent being noticed, this set of hole cards has been made since it was made, and it was not used for the first time until today. Acquiring such a huge power suddenly in a hurry, even Su couldn't control it immediately. Let the Eye of Chaos find an opportunity when the blow was struck just now, and block it. Forget it, I didn't intend to rely on this level of strength to get rid of you. Looking at the falling chains, Suwu's figure disappeared in place. Before other audiences arrive, you can play here with me for a while. At the moment when the Eye of Chaos was formed, it was in the southwest of Chaos. A huge dragon with wings on its back, a strong body, and a body covered in black scales slowly opened its eyes. The erect pupils were full of strong coercion. This force, is it the order of chaos? The black dragon raised its head and looked in the direction of the void. That side. If he remembered correctly, there seemed to be an aura of omniscience and omnipotence not long ago, which came from that side. Interesting, so many years have passed, will a new 8th realm finally be born? OM. 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 As if sensing the dragon's movement, the mist permeating the chaos slowly gathered. Right in front of him, the Eye of Chaos of the Ten-Song dynasty took shape and appeared. Compared with the Eye of Chaos in the void, this Eye of Chaos is more than one grade higher in terms of size and momentum. Undoubtedly, the Eye of Chaos that appeared in front of the giant dragon has power comparable to that of the 8th realm. Do you want to stop me from approaching? It seems that the newly born 8th realm is very special. The wings on the back spread out to both sides, and the strong hurricane swept away the surrounding chaotic fog. On the black scale armor, black runes lit up one by one, exuding a chilling aura. That is the rune of evil thoughts formed after gathering the malice of the entire chaos. Even if it is an ordinary 7th level, after looking directly at one of the runes, there will be mental problems. But at this moment, the evil of chaos has activated all these evil runes, raising the momentum to a peak. Since you want to stop it, then I have to go this time. The dragon claw that cut off everything in the world swung down high, and the evil of chaos launched an attack without hesitation. I'd like to see what kind of existence it is that forces you to forcibly divide the place out of sight. Chapter 572 A blow from the 8th realm, the head of the demon god shot. The 8th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons. It's really cold. Breathing out white mist, Ivy was covered in frosty clothes. Since she grew up, she hasn't felt this kind of feeling for a long time. Is this the power of the 8th realm? Just the clutter of the breakthrough makes me feel cold. Ivy turned around and looked at a wall behind him. That is the only entrance to the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons after being covered. At this moment, endless cold currents are constantly rushing out from the entrance, blowing onto Ivy in front of the entrance. But even so, Ivy didn't mean to move his feet and change his position. This is the power of the 8th realm. Even if it's just breath, feeling it in advance is good for future breakthroughs. And more importantly, she must fulfill the duty of guard. According to Suwu, even if she died, she couldn't let any existence break through here to affect Kang Yu's breakthrough. Is it chaos and order? Looking back from the entrance, Ivy looked at the eyeballs that quietly appeared ahead. I thought that guy was just talking casually, but I didn't expect that he was serious. The breath leaked out by the other party is not as exaggerated as the 8th realm, but at least half a step to the 8th realm. And as the clone of Chaos Order, even if this star requires half-step 8th realm, its strength belongs to the top group in half-step 8th realm. Fighting against an enemy of this level, she really has to pay the price with her life to have a chance to stop it for a while. Oh, I really lost money this time. Ivy, who had no way out, sighed, and decisively burned his own way of the main god. I hope I can stop for 3 minutes. Above the void. The battle between Suwu and the Eye of Chaos became more and more intense. Arrows of chaos fell all over the sky, and thick chains about 3 meters in length danced wildly all over the sky. By bursting out to make gaps in the floor-sweeping attack, Suwu's figure kept flashing, and he launched a counterattack from time to time. But maybe it was the first blow that made the Eye of Chaos aware of Suwu's threat, and the impenetrable chaos barrier surrounded it all the way, blocking all Suwu's attacks. But at this moment, Suwu seemed to have noticed something, and his expression became serious. Should it be called Chaos Order? Not only noticed the truth at the first time, but even avoided my perception to detect the location of the Tower of Gods and Demons. It seems that it is right to arrange for Ivy to be there. As one of the most powerful members of the 7th realm in the Chaos, even if Ivy did not complete the breakthrough, he could still reach the 8th realm in a short period of time after using all his whole cards. With her, it is not difficult to temporarily stop part of the power of Chaos Order. But even if the opponent bursts out with all his strength, he can only hold it for a minute at most. With Chaos Order as the opponent, this time is undoubtedly very long. But at the moment, it is still a little bit worse. It seems that I can only create pressure on my side. Ka. 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 Accompanied by crisp cracking sounds, cracks spread across the black armor on Suwu's body without warning. At the same time, the aura on Suwu's body began to rise and swell rapidly, and the blood-red ice and snow exploded and converged into one point. Star-broken cold sky. The blood-red sword energy streaked across the air, clearing away all obstacles in front of him. The arrow of chaos shattered, the chain of chaos broke, and even the barrier next to the Eye of Chaos was blasted out a huge gap. Boom! The cold air that freezes everything explodes inside the barrier, swallowing the Eye of Chaos that is close at hand. FK. He actually defeated Chaos Order. A blow from the 8th realm. Is this the confidence that the Lord of the Void dares to summon Chaos Order? The gap between the 7th level and the 8th level is so big, how did he do it? He unleashed the power of those black-armed forces in one breath and concentrated them on this blow. So that's how it is. With one's own half-step 8th level power as the core, combined with the 9 peaks of the 7th level main god's way, is it possible to achieve that power? 0. Ask for flowers. Not only that, the 9 ways of the main god also formed a special resonance and completed the increase, which made the power of that blow surpass the last step. On the periphery of the battlefield, the people in the 7th realm breathed a sigh of relief. Both Suwu and Chaos Order are enemies to them. But if they have to choose one, they still hope that Suwu can win. At least the other party can communicate through dialogue and have a greater chance of surviving. Hey? Something's wrong. At this moment, a person from the 7th realm suddenly yelled in horror. Those complete chains of chaos have not disappeared. How is that possible? That's a blow from the 8th realm. How can 10 incomplete chaos orders survive? 0. The bloody ice mist slowly dissipated, and the faintly breathing Eye of Chaos reappeared in front of everyone. On the side of the Eye of Chaos, an invisible strange breath is tightly wrapping it. Obviously, it was this force that saved the Eye of Chaos at the last moment, keeping it from being scattered. And for this power, the people in the 7th realm present are no strangers. Not long ago, they also felt a similar breath from Yog. He is the head of the demon god. Isn't the head of the demon god and Chaos Order hostile? Why does he help Chaos Order? No, the leader of the demon god is not trying to help the Chaos Order. A 7th level man with eyeballs all over his body was bleeding and tearing at the same time. He took advantage of the Lord of the Void to suppress this part of the power of Chaos Order, and wanted to take the opportunity to devour it. It's pretty good at finding the time. On the other hand, Su Wu also came to the same conclusion. After silently looking at the power of the head of the demon god, his eyes moved to the bronze door in the sky. Lord of the Void. The eerie singing voice kept echoing in the sky, and the voice that only Su Wu could hear rose in his mind. Help me temporarily suppress him, and I will help you break through to the 8th level afterwards. Again. Chapter 573 Fragments of Chaos Order. Help break through the 8th realm. As soon as he appeared on the stage, the head of the demon god proposed an unimaginably rich reward to Su Wu. But what he has to do is just to help suppress the Eye of Chaos that has been severely injured. It has to be said that the difficulty and reward of this task are not at the same level at all. If someone else came, then 80% would not agree. Do you think I'm a fool? Looking through the gap in the bronze door, Su Wu looked at the strange figure inside the door that was constantly twisting and changing. Not to mention your salary sounds very unreliable. How can I trust a verbal conversation without any restrictions? I can sign a contract. The voice of the head of the demon god came again, the most advanced contract, the Chaos Contract. This is the 273 contract that even the 8th realm cannot resist, and the binding force absolutely meets your requirements. Su Wu shook his head. It seems that you really treat me as a fool. As the top contract in Chaos, the binding power of the Chaos Contract can indeed limit the 8th realm. But the biggest question now is where the power to restrict the 8th realm comes from. Su Wu turned around and looked at the Eye of Chaos in the sky that was constantly being suppressed and devoured. The answer is actually quite obvious. In this chaos, the existence of the 8th realm can be suppressed. Currently there is only one Chaos Order. The source of the binding power of the chaotic contract is the complete chaotic order ontology. Now whether it is him or the head of the demon god, he is fighting against the chaos and order. If you really want to sign the contract, even if the head of the demon god repents in person, chaos order will not take care of it. Don't rush to refuse. The head of the demon god called out again, I don't know how much you know. But no matter what, you didn't break through. You are not qualified to stand on the stage now. Instead of being liquidated by the Chaos Order afterwards, it is better to cooperate with me and work for me. As long as I can succeed this time, Okay, you can stop. Su Wu interrupted, I don't want to hear your nonsense anymore. Since you want to snatch food from me, be prepared to change from a hunter to a prey. The head of the demon god and the Order of Chaos are hostile. He and Chaos Order are also hostile. But this does not mean that the relationship between him and the head of the demon god can be better. On the contrary, his relationship with the head of the demon god is also hostile. This battle has been a multi-party game from the very beginning. But it is different from the 8th realm where those behaviors are restricted and can only run errands through agents. Su Wu has done it himself all these years, and his cards are much more than these 8th realms. To be honest, I actually have to thank you. I didn't expect to get rid of the Eye of Chaos with that blow just now. You suddenly shot to suppress it, but instead helped me delay a lot of time. Ka. 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 The crisp cracking sound sounded again, and the cracks in the black weapon began to spread continuously. This time, Su Wu didn't hold anything back, and directly inspired the main god's way inside these equipments to the extreme. In the end, these black armed forces exploded completely, turning into pieces of black fragments. With a wave of his hand, Su Wu forcibly compressed these fragments into a flying sword, and attached the newly aroused power to it. Destruction, fate, space, time. All kinds of aura complement each other and keep gushing out. There is no doubt that the power of this blow is the same as before, stepping into the realm of the 8th realm. However, unexpectedly, Su did not target the power of the demon head or the giant bronze gate. Focusing on the distant place, Su pushed down the hilt of his sword. Go! Thinking of the sword, the black plane arrived at the destination in an instant. The dazzling cold light flashed across the void, causing the 7th level people on the edge of the battlefield to stare and tremble. What is the Lord of the Void doing? I don't know, but it shouldn't be. Nonsense, he's not really crazy, how could he waste this precious blow at will? That direction, if I remember correctly, it is the residence of the Lord of the Void written in the information, the dream world. Hey? When you say that, it seems to be true. The 8th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons. The battle between Ivy and the Eye of Chaos is over at this moment. Sitting slumped on the entrance to the 9th floor, Ivy, who lost an arm and a leg, wiped the corner of his mouth. It's really slow. A little later, you can clean up for me. It's already the fastest speed. The petite figure of void consciousness walked in front of the opponent. Behind her, there were black fragments shattered all over the ground, and an eyeball that was cut in two. Can you still hold on? Ivy felt his physical condition, barely can. Then keep going. Picking up the eyeball that fell on the ground, the void consciousness walked past her to the 9th floor. I still have something to do, I'll help you treat your wound later. Ivy. I feel like I've tried my best. In fact, Ivy's feelings are not wrong. With this final blow, Su sent the void consciousness with the flying sword, of course not to save Ai Wei. Of course, the same cannot be said. Judging from the result, his blow did save the opponent. But his real purpose is actually the part of the chaotic order that sneaked into the Tower of Gods and Demons to steal the house. Compared with the Eye of Chaos that Su is fighting against, the Eye of Chaos on this side is actually weaker, which is the main reason why Ivy was able to hold back temporarily after desperately trying. Aware of this point 3.2, Su decisively broke out with a blow from the 8th level to hit it hard. After being hit hard, the power of this part of the chaotic order will fall to the bottom. In the case of a full-strength attack, even the void consciousness in a relatively complete state can suppress it. And after doing this, Su's goal was completely achieved. Kang Yu, I'm here. Entering the 9th layer where the time position is distorted, the void consciousness handed over the broken eyeball in its hand. This is a fragment of chaos order, please absorb it as soon as possible. Give it to me. Kang Yu, who was sitting in the middle, slowly got up, her beautiful eyes looked into the distance beyond the void consciousness, and she met Su across the air. Next, I will complete the final steps. Chapter 574 Kang Yu strikes, freezing the cold current of chaos. Pure white snowflakes are slowly falling from the sky. Silently, the temperature of the entire void began to drop. The biting cold wind floated high in the sky, blowing through the bodies of the people in the 7th realm in different shapes. It's so cold. A 7th realm with weak physical strength shuddered and turned his head left and right to look around. Strange, the Lord of the Void hasn't launched an attack since the very beginning. Where did this cold current come from? Hey? It seems something is wrong. It can make us feel cold, this cold current is at least at the level of the Chaos Forbidden Land. The scope of influence is the entire void. No. Even the chaotic realm outside the void is snowing. After subconsciously exploring the situation, the people in the 7th realm looked at each other with big eyes and small eyes, and their faces showed surprise and unanimity. They wouldn't be too surprised if they just talked about the intensity of the cold snap. Not to mention the Su 3 who were fighting with the gods in front of them, even an ordinary 7th level ice attribute person can erupt this level of cold current. 09 But the biggest problem now is that the scope of this cold current is too large. The 7th realm is the most top-level world in the chaos. You can know how strong it is just by seeing that Su and others have beaten the void for a long time before it exploded. On the contrary, the scope of the void is also very large. The total of 180 ordinary worlds may not be half as large as it. shaking the entire void by attacking, they have the confidence to do so. This level of vision can be activated, covering the entire void, and even affecting Chaos Europe, who does not know how far outside the void. Unanimously, in the minds of everyone present, the real answer came together. A new 8th realm has arrived. Right in the middle of the battlefield. The head of the demon god and the Order of Chaos, who were in a stalemate, also stopped their movements. Compared with those of the 7th level who are ignorant of the 8th level and don't understand anything. The two of them have a clearer understanding of this vision. It's not the arrival of the 8th realm. Instead, a new 8th realm was born. I see, is this where your confidence lies? The voice of the head of the demon god quietly sounded again, with the strength of the 8th realm, you do have the qualification to enter the arena. However, it is just a qualification. Just like between the 7th realm and the 7th realm, there is a gap between Suwu and the ordinary 7th realm. There is naturally a gap between the 8th realms. Countless years of deep sleep are naturally not a waste of time. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. In addition to avoiding conflicts with the chaotic order, the main reason is to accumulate foundations and wait for opportunities to come one day in the future. On the road to the 8th realm, the head of the demon god has already traveled a very long distance. A newly born 8th realm is just a little tricky for him. It is naturally impossible to make him regress or be afraid. Give you another chance, Lord of the Void. As long as you are willing to cooperate with me, I can give you endless opportunities afterwards. Chaos Secret Treasure, endless lifespan, freedom without any constraints, and even a 100% chance to break through to the 8th realm. Everything, as long as it is what you want, I can fully satisfy it. It sounds exciting. Perhaps Kang Yu's breakthrough brought confidence, so Wu's mood is much better than before. Looking at the giant bronze gate in the sky, he replied with a smile. I already have all the things you mentioned. However, I am not without desires. If you can meet one of my requirements, I can indeed cooperate with you. Any request? Help me devour the other 8th realm and Chaos Order, and break through the 9th realm. What about your answer? The strange singing that can drive ordinary main gods to go crazy keeps ringing in Suwu's ears. But that mighty voice disappeared at this moment. It seemed that he was not surprised by this scene, and the smile on Suwu's face became more and more intense. I've made a request. I'm so satisfied with what I said just now. I shouldn't refuse it now. It seems that I really underestimated you. The voice of the head of the demon god sounded again, you know more than I imagined. Yeah, I know a lot. Suwu turned his gaze to the eye of chaos in the sky again. Kang Yu, do it. Boom. The extremely cold icicles that run through the world suddenly rise from the ground. With the eye of chaos as the center, a total of 365 icicles appeared in every corner, forming a mysterious circle. In the dark night, little lights rose up, and the power of endless stars fell from the sky and merged into the ministers of the magic circle. The iceberg stands upside down, and the earth appears above the sky. The world begins to change and turn upside down, take a step forward and appear 10 meters behind, take a step to the left and appear in the sky. Inside the magic circle, everything became psychedelic. Sensing the changes around him, the voice of the head of the demon god suddenly became louder. This thing, is the blocking magic circle researched by that guy from Wanfa. Why is 640 in your hands? Shouldn't you ask yourself that? Suwu replied with a half-smile, after all, you are one of the chief culprits who tore that person into countless pieces and devoured him completely. Could it be that he didn't get his key memory? The voice of the head of the demon god suddenly disappeared. Of course, it's not that he doesn't want to inquire further about the situation. On the contrary, after realizing that something was wrong with Suwu, the head of the demon god was the one who most wanted to know the truth. But before he opened his mouth to ask, Kang Yu's new round of offensive had already arrived. Endless extreme cold storms rose from the inside of the world, and everything began to freeze. Whether it is tangible matter or intangible energy, even time and space, all are equal in front of this cold current. With the void as the center, the cold current continued to spread to the surroundings, until it touched 1/10 of the chaotic area, and then slowly stopped. Found it. In the world where everything is forbidden, a slim figure walked slowly. When she came to the eyeball formed by the chaotic order, she swatted away the power of the head of the demon god like a fly, and then picked up the eyeball. That way, there's a second fragment. P.S. This is from yesterday, and it will be updated later today. Chapter 575, The Situation of the Eighth Realm. Let him go. In the restricted area of life where time stopped passing, a voice suddenly sounded. It was the head of the demon god who was communicating with Suwu and trying to cooperate not long ago. After increasing his effort, he broke through Kang Yu's blockade, and his consciousness returned. That's not something you can control. If you don't want to die, just give him to me. Kang Yu tilted her head in doubt, without any expression fluctuations on her pretty face. Silently raising a finger, she swiped at Will from top to bottom. In the next instant, a piece of ice that was so thin that it was almost transparent flew out along the trajectory. Laugh. As if cutting something off, the angry roar of the demon god head resounded again. But compared to just now, its voice at this moment has become blurred again. If you want to threaten me, come out in person. An icy voice sounded, and Kang Yu spoke for the first time since she appeared on the stage. A mere part of the power incarnation is not enough. In the dark and silent world, strange singing echoes constantly. The endless killing intent continued to pervade, and the terrifying and weirdness began to recover continuously. There are faint hairy bones and ghostly shadows. In the deepest part of the shadow, a huge figure slowly swayed. Is the main body coming in person? Hearing the clamor of the people outside the door, the head of the demon god slowly opened his eyes and looked at the eyeballs floating in front of him. In this world full of weirdness and evil spirits, the existence of this eyeball is not abrupt, but rather harmonious. But the head of the demon god is very clear that this is just a special model specially modified by the Chaos Order to facilitate the absorption of the power of this world to monitor his actions. Once he uses power beyond the 8th level, the opponent will immediately wake up. It seems that there is no chance this time. W. The head of the demon god gave up fighting Kang Yu. Although he said very powerfully before, his current situation is not optimistic. For the 8th realm, Chaos Order's attitude can no longer be described as harsh. Guard, suppress, seal, and even draw power back to itself. The 8th realm, where the little chaos is bred in the body, is a high-quality delicacy in the eyes of the Chaos Order. Even if the opponent doesn't have his own consciousness, he will obey the evolution rules and try to devour the 8th realm, making the chaos more perfect. In other words, when any existence breaks through to the 8th realm, the breaker will stand opposite the chaotic order. Either the Chaos Order completes the next stage of breakthrough, making the chaos as a whole so perfect that it doesn't need the 8th level to complete the evolution. Either the 8th realm defeats the chaotic order, and in turn swallows it to allow itself to further evolve. But compared to the former, the latter is extremely difficult. It's like he's not particularly afraid of SI realm through the accumulation of time. Chaos, which gave birth to several 8th realms, was already half a level higher than the 8th realm. Face to face, no one can beat the other. The only way to win is to gradually nibble away. Like Suwu did, seduce part of the original body of Chaos Order, and then devour it. This is also the reason why the head of the demon god personally took action and wanted to compete for the Eye of Chaos. It's a pity that the other party is the newly born 8th realm. Chaos Order does not have the power to come to the 8th realm immediately to take care of the opponent. Under the condition of not being able to burst out all the power, the head of the demon god naturally couldn't grab the ear. But although I didn't snatch the opponent this time, it's not all bad things in general. The head of the demon god fell into deep thought. After swallowing the fragments of the chaotic order, King will be targeted by more forces of the chaotic order. And the power of chaos and order is limited in the eyes of the 8th realm. The other party already took care of the 3 8th level people, and now they have to allocate more power to take care of King Yu. Under this premise, he might be able to hide from chaos order and make some small moves. Recalling the blocking magic circle that King Yu used before, shadows floated down from the head of the demon god. Those two guys are related to Wanfa. He had to figure out which part of the other's inheritance the two had inherited, otherwise there would be more trouble afterwards. Kang Yu, she has started to act. Above the void, Kang Yu withdrew her own power as the head of the demon god retreated, allowing time to pass again. Looking at the illusory bronze gate that began to change in the sky, Su Wu said. A total of 13 incarnations are currently hovering at the exit. If there is no accident, it should run out at the same time the door disappears. Kang Yu asked, only 13. After all, there are people watching him, so you can't make too much movement, you can only be more cautious. Su Wu smiled, it's a pity that it's not enough, it's useless to be cautious. 1. The power of the 8th realm has faintly exceeded the upper limit of the Chaos Secret Treasure. But the Ring of Contract is a top-notch Chaos Secret Treasure that has been strengthened after all. In addition, King Yu did not resist, so he could use the power of the 8th realm within a certain range to stimulate his own abilities. At this time, the benefits of omniscience and omnipotence are reflected. The special feature of the 8th realm lies in its own capacity and omnipotence against the power of chaos. And the complete way of omniscience and omnipotence must be half a level higher than this kind of omnipotence. With the blessing of King Yu's power, at close range, Su Wu could even observe the movement of the head of the demon god from a distance without attracting attention. Thinking of this, Su Wu looked at King Yu, how is your side? King Yu shook her head, there is no problem at present. After swallowing 2 fragments of chaos order one after another, chaos order will increase its suppression of her. But in order to prevent other suppression problems, chaos order needs some time to gather enough power. Before that, King Yu, who was able to completely unleash the power of the 8th realm, was the real second person in this chaos. Should we do it now? There was no immediate reply, and a look of hesitation flashed in Su Wu's eyes. Don't worry, clean up all its clones first. Give me some time, I will fight with you after breaking through to the 8th realm, and the winning rate will be higher. Chapter 576, Declaring War on the Head of the Demon God. You hesitate. King Yu immediately noticed Su Wu's question, there is not so much time, so why change the plan temporarily? Because I'm not sure enough. Su Wu replied, recently, after thinking about it carefully, we actually have a second way to go. That's a gamble to see if I can make a breakthrough with my own strength before the chaotic order imposes sanctions. That way, we will have more retreats. Retreat? King Yu's beautiful eyes slightly closed, as if she understood something. It's not our way of retreat, but her way of retreat. As the original participant, King Yu is the only one who knows Su Wu's full plan. Because of this, she knew exactly how much Su Wu had prepared. Even if he really breaks through this time, Su Wu can still survive through the backhand, until the day when chaos will complete its evolution. But King Yu couldn't do it. After breaking through the 8th realm, one would naturally have to undertake the tasks in the 8th realm. She didn't comprehend the way of omniscience and omnipotence, but she just swallowed 2 pieces of chaotic order, so she was not particularly strong in the 8th realm. This step is doomed to death. But 067 faced with such a desperate situation and the escape route given by Su Wu, King Yu chose the former without hesitation. Continue. King Yu said, now is not the time to back off. Seemingly understanding King Yu's thoughts, Su Wu didn't say anything more this time, I'll leave it to you. Good. The corners of her mouth rose slightly, and a smile appeared on King Yu's face. In the next moment, the turbulent cold current blew again. The cold wind that pierced the heart and soul turned into two giant hands and landed on the front of the huge bronze gate. Boom! The head of the demon god who was about to act was startled suddenly. In his perception, the avatar just thrown out lost contact at the same time. Not only that, but even the huge bronze gate that should have been half closed was completely opened. Subconsciously, Kang Yu's figure appeared in the head of the demon god's mind. Near the giant bronze gate, there is only the other party who can do this kind of thing. Phew! As if to confirm this conjecture, a raging cold current blows from the other side. Ajad! In the strange world of silence and darkness, the whistling sound of the cold wind was particularly ear-piercing. Interesting! The huge body twisted slowly, and the head of the demon god looked at the figure that quietly appeared in front of him. How dare you take the initiative to come here? Do you want to declare war on me? Or, you and that strange man suddenly changed their minds and wanted to join forces with me? That being said, the head of the gods subconsciously determined the answer to be the latter. As a newly broken 8th realm powerhouse, Kang Yu's greatest advantage is not only that she is not restricted by the chaotic order. More importantly, she can also dare to cooperate with other 8th realms to annihilate the chaotic order fragments that are guarding the 8th realms before the chaotic order drops its power. Even if doing so will bring certain risks, the benefits after success are even greater. If you're lucky, this will even become the starting point for the 8th realm to fight back against the chaos order. In the view of the head of the demon god, unless the other party has a brain problem, it is impossible for him to ignore such a great benefit and choose to fight with him. All kinds of thoughts flashed through the mind of the head of the demon god. Just as he was thinking about how to get more benefits next, a bloody lotus appeared in front of him. Cold blood lotus. The extreme cold air that can freeze even the body of chaos in the 8th realm gushes out in an instant. Space is imprisoned and time is stagnant. Like a natural disaster that destroyed everything in the world, the cold current rushed towards the entire strange world. Everything, under the guidance of this cold current, quickly came to an end. And at this moment, an invisible and strange force erupted from the center of the cold current. The outbreak of the cold current was temporarily contained, and roars came from it. Are you crazy? The head of the demon god looked at Kang Yu in disbelief. Why did you do this? Let's join hands to suppress the chaos order, and use this as a starting point to unite with other 8th realms, isn't it good? Not good. Bloody flying swords continued to emerge behind him, and the girl with red eyes spoke. There is always only one person who can stand at the highest place. Whether it's you or the chaos order, they must all be wiped out. The head of the demon god was stunned for a moment, and then suddenly burst out laughing. The unscrupulous laughter spread to the surroundings, stirring up the cold current. So it turns out that your goal is the 9th realm. Boom! The power that had been restrained to the utmost, broke out completely at this moment. The huge tentacles all over the sky kept waving, and the head of the demon god ignored the waking eye of chaos and looked at Kang Yu. Then let's fight, let me see where your confidence comes from. There is no temptation, did you just use your full strength? Looking at the giant bronze gate that constantly burst out with cold currents and strange forces, Su Wu looked back at the 7th realm in front of him. The time is up, what is your decision? I am willing to surrender. An energy body with lightning and sparks shining all over its body brought a red sapphire about 3 meters straight over. This is my origin, please accept it. You are good. Putting this red sapphire in front of the contract ring, Su Wu directly melted it in the most efficient way. Then, his eyes shifted to others, what about you? Lord of the Void, I think it's too embarrassing to hand over the origin. A sturdy 7th realm tried to negotiate, as long as this point is removed, I'm not in the mood to PP with you right now. In the situation where all the 7th realms did not react, Su Wu, who inserted a hand into the chest of the strong 7th realm, directly pulled out the opponent's origin. Afterwards, he ignored the loss of breath and turned into a strong seventh realm with an empty shell. Su Wu put the source that he had just acquired in front of the ring of contract to fuse it as before. I'll give you 10 seconds to quickly hand over the origin. If I find out what tricks you guys are playing. Su Wu narrowed his eyes slightly, and a cold light flashed. The fate of this idiot is your fate. Chapter 577, The Legacy of the Lord of 10,000 Laws. With someone setting an example in front, the seventh realm present naturally dare not play any tricks. Including the seventh realm who cooperated initially, the 62 seventh realm present all surrendered their origins. And after absorbing so many sources of the seventh realm, even the ring of contract has reached its limit. The ring engraved with mysterious runes kept shaking, and the violent breath continuously overflowed from it. Counting the ones in the previous contract, the ring of the contract at this moment has integrated the power of more than 67th realms, and poured it into Su Wu body C. With this power, even if Su Wu didn't break through to the 8th level, he could still get close to the 8th level. But before he really broke through to that step, his body was not strong enough to support such a huge power of chaos. Of course, Su Wu will not do idle work. For this situation, he naturally prepared a solution. Yo, you're back. Lying lazily on the ground, Ivy waved his hand towards Su Wu, his breath weak. I have fulfilled all your requests. This time, you should give me what you promised. Sorry, I don't have that time right now. Su Wu shook his head. I need to make preparations immediately to break through to the 8th realm before Kang Yu's side ends. Ha! Ivy froze for a moment. You broke through the 8th realm. Su Wu stopped in front of her. What, is there a problem? Well, there is a problem, but when I think it's you, I don't think it's strange. Sighing silently, Ivy turned over on the ground to make way for the entrance. Go in, I hope you can succeed. Not in a hurry. Su Wu didn't act immediately. Before you go in, you should first put your origin. Forget it, let's save your life. Ivy. Had she heard some terrible speech? It seems that the plan is going well. On the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons, the Bell of Origin quietly looked at Su Wu who was walking towards him. Compared with when he left not long ago, his aura has obviously improved a bit. Knowing the origin of part of the other party's plan, he naturally understands what this means. To be honest, I thought you would change your plan for the sake of the Lord of Extreme Cold. Now it seems that you are more cold-blooded than I imagined. After preparing for so long, it makes no sense to give up now. Without any intention of explaining, Su Wu replied, activate the Source Transformation Circle. Kang Yu's side is already at war, and she will spend some time wiping away the power of the demon godhead before delivering a decisive blow. Before that, I need to digest the external power in my body and break through to the 8th realm. As early as the moment you approached the God-Demon Tower, I was ready. The white ice mist permeating the 9th floor slowly parted to the two sides, and a spacious road appeared in front of Su Wu. At the end of the road is the final Yan altar that helped Kang Yu break through to the 8th realm not long ago. But the difference from not long ago is that at this moment, there are a lot of grey lines under the final altar. With the final Yan altar as the core, these lines spread toward the 9th floor of the God-Demon Tower, and stop and connect at the edge, forming a huge magic circle. Although I've heard you talk about it before, it's the first time I've seen this thing after it's activated. The Bell of Origin said with emotion, it can refine and absorb a person's origin without any side effects. Even if you can make this kind of thing, you are really good enough. Not mine. Su Wu shook his head. This is one of the legacy left by Lord of 10,000 Laws. The Lord of all Laws. Bell of Origin said, this name sounds a little familiar, but when I think about it carefully, I don't have the slightest impression. Strange, is it possible that the existence of the other party is blocked by the Chaos Order? It was indeed blocked. Su Wu replied while checking whether there was any problem with the magic circle. After all, it is trying to resist the existence of chaotic order. Being able to leave some legacy is already the limit. Resist chaos order. The Bell of Origin was stunned. Before you, did that kind of lunatic exist? Su Wu, of course it exists, otherwise why do you think you would do these things? In fact, even the Tower of Gods and Demons that you usually live in is one of the property of the other party. The Clock of Origin seemed to understand. No wonder this tower can block the detection of chaos order and help you hide so many things. It's not entirely the other party's credit. Su Wu sat down on the final altar, and began to activate the original transformation circle. That guy doesn't have much last time. When I got the Tower of Gods and Demons, it was just an embryo that recorded a lot of information. To really perfect it will be something after Void. But even so, it is amazing enough. Being able to wipe out the chaotic order, so much property is still left behind. In Su Wu's view, the strength of the Lord of 10,000 Laws is already at the 8th level. The reason for the final defeat was that apart from the strength of the chaos order, the other 8th realm's rebellion at critical moments was also a major factor. Su Wu also learned from the other party's lessons, and then cultivated his own 8th realm from scratch. Although there are still some risks in this, but from Kang Yu's performance, the other party did not disappoint him. Can the remaining power of time still maintain the limit acceleration for about half a day? After urging the source of the time house to overdraw and accelerate again, Su Wu activated the Ring of Contract. Taking out the source of the 7th realm that he had just obtained, Su Wu spread it around the body respectively. The magic circle began to move, and the grey mist entered the origin of these 7th realms. After a while, strands of chaotic power floated up from the source and entered Su's body. The Clock of Origin, is there any remaining power of chaos? There are some. The Clock of Origin looked at the 12 wreckages that fell on the ground not far away. It's about 1,000th of the original total. Enough. Su Wu ordered, activate and mobilize together, I will start to accelerate. Good. J. Chapter 578, Kang Yu's Purpose. Weird World. Pure white snowflakes kept falling from the sky, and the 10,000 zhang ice covered the earth. In the bitter cold wind, Kang Yu and the head of the demon god stood on both sides, facing each other. Several days have passed since the start of the war. For the 8th realm, such a short period of time naturally cannot tell any results. But, looking at the eyeball in the sky exuding terror and coercion, Kang Yu and the two chose to stop at the same time. It seems that this battle can only end here. The voice of the head of the demon god reverberated layer by layer throughout the world, accompanied by a strong spiritual attack towards Kanki. I was still wondering how this guy woke up so slowly. Now it seems that the Chaos Order took advantage of our fight to integrate the 183 power that should have suppressed you into mine. If we continue to fight, we will both lose, and let him take advantage of it for nothing. As long as you are not really crazy, you should know what to do at this time. This is not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. After the two powers that should have been separated to suppress the two 8th realms were integrated into a whole, the power of chaos and order has undergone a qualitative leap. As long as they have the tendency to attack again, the other party will definitely launch an attack beyond common sense and suppress both of them. It's not too late to regret it now. The head of the demon god drew together again, let's cooperate. All the previous conditions remain the same, as long as you are willing to help me deal with chaos order, I can give you everything you want. I already said that. Kang Yu shook her head, we have only one goal, and that is the 9th realm. Madness. Like a roaring thunder, the voice of the head of the demon god sounded. You have just broken through the 8th realm, what qualifications do you have to covet that position? Be obedient and join me in weakening the chaos order, won't you buy more time? Su Wu said that the words of a betrayer cannot be trusted. Blood-colored mist rose from behind, and the ice-blue long hair gradually turned red from top to bottom. The ice mist filled the air, and the murderous aura that shook the sky and the earth exploded. The howling wind roared, and blood spread all over the mountains and plains. The eternal darkness was torn apart, and Kang Yu, who radiated immense light, stepped out holding a blood-colored lotus in her hand. "You're crazy!" Facing this scene, the voice of the head of the demon god was filled with panic for the first time. "Burning the body of chaos like this, you will fall back to the 7th level. At that time, even if you hurt me, so what, it's just to benefit others. Kang Yu, that's enough." The power of chaos rose from the body, and poured into the ice lotus along with the bloody torrent. Under the gaze of the head of the demon god, Liani's energy began to accumulate rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few seconds, he crossed the threshold of the 8th realm and exuded a threatening aura towards him. There is no doubt that this is a blow that can severely damage the 8th realm. Faced with this scene, the head of the demon god was completely enraged. "Since you want to die, then I will satisfy your original wish." Boom! The invisible tentacles stirred up the space, tearing apart huge space cracks. The strange singing sounded again, and the power accumulated in this world was activated by the head of the demon god. The whole world began to shake continuously, and endless ghost figures emerged from every crack, turning the whole world into ghosts. But at this moment, the countless tentacles on the head of the demon god suddenly started to move, grabbing and absorbing these ghosts one after another. In the blink of an eye, his aura began to rise rapidly, astonishingly elevated to the same level as Kang Yu. To break through to the 8th realm, one of the conditions is to obtain omnipotent power with a single authority. The evil of chaos is evil. Kang uses ice. And he is soul. Feed on the soul, use the soul as power. Any soul contaminated with his breath is his avatar. Throw it aside when you don't need it, and recycle it all when you need it. With this ability, the head of the demon god can still explode beyond the peak power under the suppression of the chaotic order. Originally, the head of the demon god wanted to wait for an opportunity to use this power to severely injure the chaos in order to turn the tables. It's a pity that the existence of Kang Yu forced him to use this power zone in advance. Chaotic order is no fool. Seeing this scene, he will definitely learn a lesson next time. In order not to waste, the head of the demon god finally chose to involve the other party who had been watching the show. "Give me death." Infinite soul power gathers in the head of the demon god. Not only the souls in the strange world, he directly recovered 99% of the clones in the chaos this time. This force even surpassed his carrying limit. Ignoring the screams from his body, the head of the demon god forcibly compressed the power into a black ball and threw it into the sky. He didn't go out of his way to find the target. This blow is aimed at this world. And coincidentally, it was at the same time that the head of the demon god dropped the black ball. The dark moon in the sky was just like the blood-colored ice lotus. Then, she raised her head and looked at the chaotic arrow rain falling in the sky. It was an attack created by the chaos order after the head of the demon god and Kang Yu launched the attack together. Even though it was just a temporary attack, both quality and stun were at the 8th level. Kang Yu laughed contentedly. "In this way, we should be able to severely injure the two of them together. The only entrance to this world is the 2.1 bronze giant gate." Long before she came in, Su Wu combined her power and the legacy of the Lord of 10,000 Laws to completely seal it off. Even if they can't be completely stopped, more than 90% of their power from the three parties will be blocked in this world. All the power of the 3 8th level players exploded completely, and no one could resist without damage. This is true whether it is the head of the demon god, the order of chaos, or she who dominates all of this. Boom! The 9th floor of the Tower of Gods and Demons. Su Wu slowly opened his eyes and got up from the spot. At the same time, the sound of the bell of origin came from above. Is this force successful? Well, it worked. Su Wu's voice echoed on the 9th floor. Chapter 579, Gift from Kang Yu. In front of the huge bronze gate, figures of different shapes surrounded the surroundings. Terrifying chaotic airflow continuously rushed out of the giant gate, and was physically stopped by the seventh realm. The blood exuding pure energy splashed in mid-air, and the flesh was mutilated here and there, which looked very tragic. In fact, as the seventh realm from outside, even if Suwu took away their source and subdued them forcibly, they should not fall into this realm. If they cooperate with each other, with their strength, they can completely block the aftermath that came from an unknown distance without getting injured. But in fact, these 7th level people did not use their own power. Instead, it simply relies on the power of the body to stop these aftermaths. It's really tragic. Behind the 7th realm, Ivy watched this scene expressionlessly. She just recovered not long ago, and left the Tower of Gods and Demons to come here to investigate the situation. But the actual situation shocked her. Those in the 7th realm are all dead. That's right, the 7th level people who stood in front to resist the aftermath were all corpses without exception. Subconsciously, Ivy thought of what Suwu said not long ago. Anyway, it's the 7th realm. I thought you would save their lives. Why do you want to stay? Suwu, who didn't hide his breath, appeared from behind. Since you dare to come to watch the show, you must be prepared to pay the price. You are strong, I will listen to you. Ivy shrugged, raised his finger and pointed to the huge magic circle full of cracks in the sky. It seems to be severely beaten inside, and even your blockade can't hold it. It doesn't matter, its mission has been completed. After casually patching the loopholes above and letting it play its last remaining heat, Suwu walked forward. Move these corpses to the demon tower and hand them over to the Bell of Origin. Going to run errands again? Iwei pulled a face. Are you ready to pay the promised reward? Could it be that after breaking through to the 8th realm, you want to rely on your strength to renege on me? Relax, I won't lie. Suwu smiled and walked to the depths of the bronze gate. As long as I can come back alive, I will naturally reward you. Ivy. So, she was still being prostituted for nothing. Still repeated several times for free prostitution. Fist, hardened. In the weird world. The aftermath of the explosion of the 3 8th level players slowly dissipated. The earth riddled with holes and the sky cracked. Endless chaotic turbulence passes through space cracks and wreaks havoc throughout the world. Facing those 3 devastating attacks, even this world, which has been managed by the head of the demon god for countless years, inevitably came to an end. At this moment, the whole world suddenly shook. Countless black shadows gathered from all over the world, and the figure of the head of the demon god reappeared in the sky. Compared with the beginning, his breath at this moment is much weaker. This is a sequela after the extreme explosion. Even if he is in the 8th realm, it is inevitable. But at this moment, the head of the demon god did not feel sad at all. After all, I won. A voice full of joy sounded, and the head of the demon god looked down at the earth below. The blood-colored ice fog that filled the air had disappeared, and he, who regarded the darkness as nothing, looked at 2 places across a long distance. The place on the left gathers the rich power of chaos, forming a round ball. On the right side is an ice coffin, exuding a icy cold current. There is no doubt that these 2 places are where Chaos Order and Kang Yu are located. With just a cursory glance, the head of the demon god could see how bad the situation of the 2 of them was. The first is Chaos Order. As the strongest of the 3, he should have been the least affected one. But whether it was Kang Yu or the head of the demon god, they intentionally or unintentionally placed the attack point near the opponent. Without sufficient preparation, he is the one who has suffered the most outbreaks in this round. Directly enter the state of heavy damage, and the strength field is gone. As for Kang Yu's side, it was even worse. At any rate, the chaotic order was only seriously damaged, but Kang Yu was facing a life crisis at this moment. That ice coffin was her last means of survival. But even so, Kang Yu's breath of life is still like a candle in the wind, which can be extinguished at any time. Compared with these 2, the head of the demon god who only lost half of his body and entered a weak state is undoubtedly the winner. He has planned the next steps. First, devour Kang Yu, who has no power to fight back, to recover part of her strength. Then force it to erupt again, dropping pieces of chaos order. Then he used another trump card to hide himself for a while. When he is completely digested, he can even be compared to the former Lord of 10,000 Laws. At that time, facing a chaotic order that has been hit hard one after another, he will be almost 60% sure of winning. 860 I really want to thank you this time. Manipulating one of the tentacles, the head of the demon god rolled towards the ice coffin. In return, I will let you become a part of me, and join me on the throne. You don't have that qualification yet. Chi. The tentacles rising towards the ice coffin collapsed without warning. Standing in front of the ice coffin, Su Wu said while stroking the surface of the ice coffin. Thank you, Kang Yu. Leave the rest to me. Ka. 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 A series of cracks appeared on the surface of the ice coffin in vain. As if hearing Su Wu's words, the corners of Kang Yu's mouth in the ice coffin with closed eyes slightly raised, revealing a smile. In the next moment, the ice coffin exploded completely, and a large amount of ice powder gathered in midair to form an ice blue lotus flower, which fell towards Su Wu's chest. Without any hindrance, this ice lotus directly merged into Su Wu's body. Have a good night's sleep. Feeling the surge of power in his body, Su Wu turned to look at the head of the demon god in the sky. By the time you wake up again, the daily cut will be over. Chapter 580 Almighty Strike. You're the guy from before. Looking at Su Wu below, the head of the demon god instantly recognized Su Wu. However, compared to the last time they met, the head of the demon god saw a change in Su Wu. I didn't expect you to break through to the 8th realm. There's a lot more you didn't expect. Su Wu condensed an ice sword. I'll give you 10 seconds. Surrender now, and I will leave you with a source, so that you have a chance to wake up in the future. You think you're going to get me? The whole world began to shake again, and strange shadows floated towards the head of the demon god. Whole cards, I want as many as I want. Continue to fight, at most you will go to perish just like that woman playing with ice just now. You overestimate yourself. Su Wu raised the ice sword slowly. Similarly, you underestimated me too much. OM. 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 The ice sword slowly slid down from top to bottom, and the shaking of the entire shadow world became more violent in an instant. At the same time, the strange singing sounded in the whole world, just like the mourning of the world, revealing a touch of sadness in the singing. Under the astonished eyes of the head of the demon god, Su Wu's precise strike hit all the gaps in the entire world. These gaps are all the damage caused by the aftermath of the previous 3 8th level attacks. At this moment, these gaps were completely torn apart by Su Wu, bringing this strange world full of souls to the end. Boom! The strange world exploded, and the shocking aftermath spread in all directions. And in this turbulent time and space, the dazzling cold light rose again. With a chill in his heart, the head of the demon god decisively took out part of the power he had just recovered to create a soul shield. But the moment the two came into contact, a ray of blue fluorescence suddenly appeared in the sword light. That is the power from the Soul Eater clan. The Soul Eater clan is a race that feeds on souls and has in-depth research and targeted methods on the power of souls. Not long ago, among Su Wu's origins of the 7th realm of devouring, one of them was from the Soul Devouring clan. With the help of Omniscient and Omnipotent and the power of the 8th realm, Su Wu sublimated the opponent's ability to the level of the 8th realm. At this moment, with the help of this sublimated power, Su Wu's sword light instantly broke through the soul shield and landed on the head of the demon god. Chi! The head of the demon god who had just recovered was chopped into 2 pieces. And at the same time, Su Wu's figure in the distance flashed past and appeared in front of part of the body. A turbulent cold current blew head-on, and a stream of hoarfrost covered this incomplete part. Before the head of the demon god could react, a thick ice layer was completely formed, completely freezing this part of the body. Put it down. Another part of the body was reshaped in mid-air, and the voice of the demon god head was full of anger. It had been many years, and this was the first time that he had suffered such a big loss. Even if it was the outbreak with Kang Yu not long ago, at most he lost a whole card and entered a weak state. But now, just after meeting So Wu, he lost half of his body. This made the head of the demon god feel a little terrified while being furious. Not approaching rashly, he chose to launch a long-range attack. The shadows converged above So Wu, forming huge black clouds. Black ghosts filled the dark clouds, and raindrops fell all over the sky. Each of these raindrops is full of soul poison. Under the control of the head of the demon god, these raindrops turned into a 10,000 meter high hammer, trying to force So Wu out of the ice coffin. It's useless. Watching this scene indifferently, So Wu swung his sword again. Boom! Jianbo headed forward, directly smashing the soul giant hammer into pieces. Looking at this scene, the head of the demon god's heart sank. Is it really the ability to restrain the soul? In this way, she will not be able to use her best strength. But no matter what, the head of the demon god is also a true eighth realm. Even if the power of the soul cannot be used, his other abilities are not weak. Fire, thunder, poison. A wave of force attached to the tentacles, smashing towards So Wu in various directions. At the same time, the black mist floated above the head of the demon god, turned into thousands of curses, and fell towards So Wu under the guidance of fate. But in the face of these endless attacks, So Wu still seemed very calm. As if just now, he waved the ice sword casually, smashing all the attacks. It's not blocking, nor dodging, but breaking. No matter what kind of power the head of the demon god uses, So Wu can always suppress it with precise use of his perfect ability. Even in the course of the battle, So Wu occasionally took the time to slash two swords from a long distance, precisely passing through the demon god head's defense line and falling on him. Like a puppet on a string, So Wu sees through every move of the head of the demon god. In less than a minute, the breath of the head of the demon god dropped by 30%. How can this be? At this moment, even the head of the demon god was surprised. UBD! What the hell did you do? Even with the power of omniscience, it is impossible to achieve this level. Of course not just omniscience. So Wu stopped the offensive for the first time, and pulled out an eyeball in front of the head of the demon god. But with him, it's different. An ominous premonition rose in the head of the demon god, pieces of chaos order. That's right. So Wu looked down at the eye of chaos. You think you are buying time to recover, but I am waiting for the digestion to complete. The head of the demon god is not weak. In other words, every eighth realm is impossible. The accumulation of time has already taken them a long way on the road to the eighth realm. Even So Wu, after completing the breakthrough and gaining the strength of Kang Yu, can only suppress the head of the demon god who was severely injured. But it is undoubtedly difficult to kill or seal it. But, coupled with the power of the chaotic order in his hands, the result will be different. Under the watchful eye of the head of the demon god, King Zhao, the eyeballs transformed from chaos and order slowly dissolved and merged into So Wu's eyes. The two looked at each other, and the head of the demon god felt as if he had been completely seen through. This is the final blow. The blood-colored ice and snow are wrapped on the ice sword, and all major forces such as fate, destruction, time, and space gather together. Taking Kang Yu's power as the benchmark, So Wu amazingly gathered all powerful power into one blow. Etc. Sensing something was wrong, the figure of the head of the demon god disappeared without warning. At the same time, his voice continued to echo in this time and space. I have a secret about chaos order and the Lord of all laws. As long as you stop, I will tell you. Not interested in. So Wu waved down the ice sword expressionlessly. Across a long distance, along the long river of time and space upstream. The sword light that cut everything passed through numerous obstacles, and precisely landed on the torso of the head of the demon god. Boom! Chapter 581, 4th Place and 8th Realm. Southwest of Chaos. The huge dragon and the Eye of Chaos kept colliding, and the terrifying chaos storm raged around. At a certain moment, the two stopped without warning, and looked at the long river of time and space in the other side. Is that the head of the demon god? Chaos Evil immediately recognized the body attacked by Jian Guang. Interesting, it doesn't look like the power of Chaos Order. The new 8th realm? It shouldn't be. The 8th realm is extremely difficult to kill, which can be seen from the fact that Chaos Order can only choose a little consumption. It can force the head of the demon god to the point of nowhere, and injure him severely in the future. Even if it is a complete chaotic order, it is almost at this level. Subconsciously, the evil of chaos remembered the fluctuations from before. Could it be that the guy who mastered the omniscience and omnipotence did it? In the long river of time and space, the invisible storm of time and space continues to rage, and scenes that exist at various points in time pass by in a flash. Walking in this zone 870, which is considered extremely dangerous by ordinary people, Su Wu slowly walked in front of a ball of black balls. Is there anything you want to say? Give me a chance. The voice of the head of the demon god sounded, as long as you leave me a trace of origin, I can cooperate with your plan and take the initiative to transfer my own power to it. Besides, I can also tell you the secret I told you for free. Don't you understand? Su Wu shook his head. Your so-called secret is nothing more than that the Lord of all laws has not died. In other words, the one who died was only the Lord of myriad laws in the past, and now he has merged a part of himself with the Chaos Order. Well, I'm right. Who are you? The voice of the head of the demon god was full of disbelief. It is impossible for the Lord of 10,000 laws to keep this kind of news in his hands. You, a guy who inherited his inheritance, how do you know such a thing? Su Wu asked back, what do you think? The head of the demon god suddenly fell silent. Those who can know this kind of news must have the strength of the 8th realm. Otherwise, just the erasure of chaos and order would be enough to make people below the 8th level forget everything. From ancient times to the present, there have been 4 existences in the 8th realm. According to the order of birth, they are the Lord of 10,000 laws, the evil of chaos, the head of demon god and who's coming? How can it be? The head of the demon god murmured in a low voice, when did my memory go wrong, and what exactly happened? Of course it was at the beginning. While Su Wu was digesting the power in his body, he placed one hand on the source of the demon god's head and started devouring it. Have you ever thought about a question? Since the order of chaos has erased the existence of the Lord of all laws, why do people in the chaos still remember the existence of 4 8th realms? That's because the Lord of all laws has fused part of the chaos order, so it can interfere with his erasure to a certain level. Su Wu laughed sarcastically, this is the reason dream made up for you, it seems that you didn't realize it at all. The head of the demon god was stunned. This name is very familiar to him. But why, I have no impression at all. Have you not remembered yet? It seems that you are not as strong as I thought. In the origin of the head of the demon god, colorful lights rose in vain. Su Wu placed the hand on the opponent's origin with a little force, pulled it out, Achfa, and absorbed it together with the original power of the head of the demon god. How, remember? The head of the demon god. The external power in the original source was taken away, and the memory of passive hands and feet was exposed to the head of the demon god. Invited by the Lord of all laws to fight against the chaos and order together. He had an affair with the evil of chaos in private, and betrayed at the critical moment. Cooperating with the order of chaos to defeat the Lord of myriad laws and dream, and try to devour each other. The Lord of all laws burns his own origin separately, severely injuring everyone including the Chaos Order. Scenes of blocked and modified images kept flashing through the head of the demon god's mind. In the end, under circumstances that no one expected, the dream that had the chance to survive also ignited its own origin. You will regret it. The other party's calm words resounded in my mind along the memory. I see. The erratic figure in his mind slowly overlapped with Suwu in front of him. At this moment, the head of the demon god finally understood. Are you the reincarnation of a dream? Bang! The origin of the head of the demon god exploded without warning. The black light spots floated in midair and were sucked into Suwu's body. Reincarnation. Stabilizing the soaring strength in his body, Suwu condensed an ice field in front of him, and looked at the familiar face in the ice field. What an interesting conclusion. Although I don't know how the head of the demon god came to this conclusion, but the other party obviously wanted something wrong. In fact, he is just an ordinary person with better luck. It's just that it was just right to be spotted by the backhand left by the opponent and passed the test. That's all. It's time to speed up. Suwu turned around and glanced at the space that began to distort aside. That is the scene that appears after the space-time field is disturbed by external forces. Nowadays, there are only two people who have the ability to do this. Chaos Evil, and Chaos Order. The former is currently fighting the clone of Chaos Order, so naturally there will be no spare power. So it is obvious that the Order of Chaos has begun to show its power. After noticing that Suwu devoured his fragments one after another, he even absorbed the two empresses of the Eighth Realm, Kangyu and Demon God's head. Chaos Order finally put its attention on Suwu, who had just broken through, and prepared to focus on a wave. A little faster than expected. As if he had expected this scene, Suwu raised his hand and shot a beam of colorful beams into the distorted beam, and then disappeared in place. Just work harder and persevere, Wan Feiwen. Chapter 582, The Transformation of Reality and Reality, the Truth. In the deepest part of the chaos, a space filled with the power of chaos. A figure with a slender body, white skin like jade, exuding a warm luster stood quietly. After an unknown amount of time, his body suddenly trembled slightly, and his eyes moved to the front right. At the same time, an energy cluster emitting colorful brilliance appeared out of thin air and rushed into his body. Will you hold on a little longer? Whispering the information in the energy group in a low voice, the Lord of Myriad Laws fell silent. The erosion of the years did not leave any traces on his body, and he was dressed in a white Taoist robe, which looked spotless and immortal. As the first Eighth Realm, and also the strongest Eighth Realm, the cultivation of the mind of the Lord of 10,000 Laws is undoubtedly top-notch. But even he, after receiving this news, couldn't help but feel a little trembling in his heart. Dream, the person you chose is finally coming. The Lord of 10,000 Laws sighed silently in his heart, feeling a little sad. The betrayal of the head of the demon god and the evil of chaos made the battle that should have been won quickly go to ruin. At the critical moment, the dream that fought with him to the last moment burned its own origin and reversed the established facts. Turn real into illusory, and transform illusory into real. With this trick, Meng Meng pulled him back from the brink of death, and modified some of the memories of the head of the demon god and the evil of chaos. As a price, 3 dreams of the Eighth Realm True were forcibly modified to replace the Lord of Myriad Laws, and they fell completely. It stands to reason that if someone cheated him at a critical moment, the use of Wanfa should have revenge. But the sky fails to fulfill people's wishes, and the reality is often more cruel. As the source of chaos, Chaos Order is half a level higher than the Eighth Realm. Therefore, not only did he not have his memory affected like the head of the demon god and the evil of chaos. On the contrary, they are always keeping a close eye on the movement of the Lord of 10,000 Laws, trying to completely seal and kill this chaotic guy. Under such circumstances, the Lord of Myriad Laws naturally has no energy to take revenge on the leader of the demon god and others. Fortunately, Meng Meng seemed to have expected this scene long ago, and explained to him her backhand before she completely fell. According to the other party's instructions, the Lord of Myriad Laws left some of his belongings and information, and then went directly into the chaos and confronted the Chaos Order face to face. Although there is a gap in strength, the Lord of 10,000 Laws is the original 8th realm after all, with many cards in his cards. After so many years, he not only survived smoothly, but also took most of the other party's energy, leaving a chance for the latecomers. But now, the person who was picked by Dream's backhand finally took advantage of this opportunity to grow up. Faced with this result, even the Lord of Myriad Laws can't help but have a lot of thoughts and mixed feelings in his heart. Sighing again, the Master of Methods looked forward at the huge eyeballs that gradually gathered and formed. That is the body form of Chaos Order, and the Lord of all Laws has seen it twice. Once was when he united others to deal with Chaos Order. Once when he went deep into chaos and confronted the Order of Chaos. Now, the other party has shown this form again, and has undoubtedly expressed his attitude. But different from the past, countless years of passing away have already caused the state of the Lord of 10,000 Laws to fall to the bottom. This time, he didn't have the confidence to fight against the body of the chaotic order for a long time. Forget it, anyway, this is the last chance to overwhelm Chaos Order. Using the colorful light ball sent by Suwu in his body as fuel, the Lord of 10,000 Laws ignited his own origin and returned to the peak. I hope you won't disappoint us. At the same time, in a corner to the southwest of the chaos, the figure of Suwu appeared out of thin air. You are the guy who killed the head of the demon god, right? As soon as it appeared, a voice came from the front. Although the tone of the voice is very gentle, this voice is full of mysterious power. Anger, hatred, jealousy, arrogance. All kinds of negative emotions soared out of thin air, even giving Suwu the idea of destroying everything. But in the next instant, a cool force rose from Suwu's body, crushing this negative emotion directly. Interesting. After glancing at the motionless eye of chaos in the sky, Wu looked at the huge dragon not far away. You don't seem to be surprised by my arrival. It's just a gut feeling. The strong negative emotions turned into a substantial black mist, rising continuously from the huge body of the dragon. On his ferocious face, he grinned the corners of his mouth, revealing a penetrating smile. In the ordinary 8th realm, there is no reason to fight to the death with the head of the demon god, let alone the power to kill him. If I'm not mistaken, you are related to the Dream or the Lord of Myriad Laws. Suwu raised his eyebrows. It seems that you are smarter than the head of the demon god. Isn't it because you didn't give him time to think? The thick black fog continued to gather, and after the body gradually shrunk and transformed into a dragon man, the evil of chaos watched Suwu calmly. The leader of the demon god is not stupid at all, even the betrayal was organized by the other party. Although he didn't know what happened, Suwu knew it if the head of the demon god guessed correctly. That's why the opponent will take the head of the demon god as the first target and kill him immediately. I have to say that you were able to kill the head of the demon god, which really surprised me, but that's all. As the voice fell, the evil of chaos in the form of a dragon man flew upwards. In the next second, he appeared beside the Eye of Chaos, standing side by side with him. The two have a total of 3 eyeballs, all falling on Suwu's body, keeping a close eye on his every move. I won't give you any chance. Chaos Evil proclaimed, as long as you stay alive, the two of us will hunt you down to Cape Tianya. Chapter 583, Eternal Ruler. Have you teamed up? Facing this astonishing scene, Suwu's heart sank slightly. As the holder of the Way of Omniscience, he can deduce the actions of the strong in the same realm to a certain extent. And among the options he listed, there is indeed the possibility of joining forces between Chaos Evil and Chaos Order. However, the Chaotic Order has no consciousness of its own, and everything depends on the Order itself to act. Want to make the opponent stop attacking, and even join forces to fight against the enemy. The evil of chaos must surrender and submit to the order of chaos, making itself a subordinate of the order of chaos. But this behavior will make the evil of chaos permanently lose the possibility of breaking through, and will become the nourishment of this chaos for countless times in the future, with the possibility of conformity. Because of this, the probability of this option is not high, and it even belongs to the lowest one among all the 270 options. Su Wu narrowed his eyes. I didn't expect you to be willing to pay such a high price just to deal with me. The evil of chaos, just to survive. Su Wu, who has mastered the way of omniscience, has a unique advantage in intelligence. The arrival of the opponent seems to turn the battle situation into a tripartite confrontation. But in fact, Su Wu, who has already predicted all the possibilities, will definitely choose the best option along the way to make him like a Jedi. Death or life. After hesitating for a while between the two, the evil of chaos finally chose the latter. Thanks to you, I'm in a terrible mood right now. The evil of chaos raised his right arm, and the black mist with strong negative emotions approached and entangled, turning into a ferocious claw. Aiming at Su Wu in the distance, he swung down from the air. The roar of the giant dragon rose, and a huge dragon shadow emerged behind chaos evil. Together with his movements, this huge dragon shadow lowered its thick and sharp claws together. The shadow of the sharp claw covers the sky and the earth, blocking all directions. The terrifying power shook the chaos, tearing apart one after another cracks. If there is an effect, there must be a cause. If you hadn't betrayed back then and helped the Lord of all Laws overthrow the Chaos Order, you would have been late in the promotion at best. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. How can it be like this now that it will forever lose the possibility of breaking through and become a slave to the chaotic order? The power of the surging elements rises, and the mysterious Lorunes wrap around the ice sword. Wielding the all-powerful blow that defeated the head of the demon god not long ago, Su Wu cut off the dragon shadow lightly. In the final analysis, the current situation is completely caused by yourself. Shut up! The eyes of the evil of chaos glared, and the terrifying coercion that shook the world rushed towards him. You little brat who doesn't know anything, you are not qualified to comment on that matter at all. Indeed, helping the Lord of all Laws to overthrow the Chaos Order back then, everyone can usher in a perfect ending. Let everyone have the hope of ascending to the highest throne. But does that have to be true? Even chaos itself has only half-stepped into that field. How can the Lord of all Laws be 100% sure of success? If you really overthrow the Chaos Order, that guy will gain the power of the Chaos Order and become truly invincible. If it fails, how do you know that he won't take us down? Do you really think I don't know anything? Su Wu shook his head. In order to gain your trust, the Lord of 10,000 Laws even gave you a part of his origin before that battle began. In addition to being able to bring you a temporary increase, it is also handing over your own handle to you, so as to gain trust. Unfortunately, he underestimated your greed. What you want is not only the throne of the ninth realm, but also the identity of being the first to climb to the throne and become the eternal ruler. If the eighth realm bred a small chaos in the body, then the ninth realm bred countless pieces of chaos in the body. Because of this, there is a difference between breaking through the ninth realm through the integration of chaos and order, and breaking through the ninth realm conventionally. The former uses the power of chaos itself to complete the breakthrough, and the scale of the chaos in the body will directly increase to the sum of the chaos in the body plus the chaos of the outer ghost. The latter is a normal breakthrough, and the scale of chaos in the body will not even be as good as outside chaos. When the two fight, the strength is naturally clear at a glance. More importantly, the former will become the master of the current chaos after breaking through, innately suppressing half of the creatures born in this chaos. If it is said that the chaotic order is still possible to be overthrown, then ascending to the ninth realm of the eternal ruler truly represents invincibility. Step by step, no matter how many ninth realms are born in the future, it is impossible to be the opponent of the other party together. And this is the real reason why the head of the demon god and the evil of chaos chose to betray. They want to become the eternal master themselves, rather than being suppressed by an eternal master. So what? Having been exposed by Suwu, Chaos Evil didn't show any guilt. Think about it differently, don't you want to fight for that position when the opportunity is in front of you? Now you are also in the 8th realm, you should be able to understand how important that position is. If you help the Lord of all laws like this, what can you gain? That guy doesn't exist anymore. Even if he exists, he won't give up that position to you. If you don't give it, don't give it. Suwu didn't care, it's a big deal to be an ordinary 9th realm, and hang out with Kang Yu after she wakes up. Although this will make Kang Yu's efforts lose part of their meaning, there is nothing wrong with it. It is not so easy to do the position of eternal ruler. In other words, the process of climbing to the top is the most dangerous part of the whole plan. Surrounded by two 0.98th level players in front of him, they all seem insignificant in comparison. And more importantly, now that Dream is dead, he is the greatest contributor to the purpose of helping Wanfa. If the Lord of Myriad Laws wants to be the Eternal Lord, then Suwu will give up this position to the other party. With this kind of thigh as a backer, he is truly a person who is under one person and above 10,000 people. After Kang Yu wakes up, there is nothing wrong with spending time with her in eternity. Chaos Evil. What kind of reaction is this, and why is it different from what he thought? Okay, let's stop chatting. Suwu looked at the Eye of Chaos, who had quietly set up a chaos barrier to completely seal off this space. Since the venue is ready, it's time to send you on your way. Chapter 584. Beat my teammates. The Lorunes covered the sky and the earth, and the voice of order slowly rose. Taking the power of chaos in itself as the core, the Eye of Chaos set up a blocking barrier while Suwu was talking with the evil of chaos. Even if it is the 8th realm, it will take at least 10 seconds to break the barrier. And this time is enough to determine the outcome of this battle. But as the trapped party, Suwu didn't show any panic. At first, I was afraid that the two of you would run away if the situation was not good, but now it seems that there is no need to worry about this situation. As an enchantment that can temporarily seal the 8th realm, even if the Eye of Chaos is a spellcaster, it is impossible to unlock it in a short time. The time for the opponent to unlock is also enough for Suwu to end the battle. Big words. On the other side, upon hearing Suwu's arrogant words, the evil of chaos showed anger on his face. I want to see today, how you beat us. The voice fell, and the roar sounded. Behind the evil of chaos, the figure of the magic dragon reappeared, opened its huge mouth and let out a roar that shook the world. The entire barrier buzzed and trembled, and the huge sound waves collided and echoed on the edge of the barrier. 09 In just a split second, the roaring sound that reverberated several times multiplied in power, transforming into almost substantial shock waves and falling. At the same time, the Eye of Chaos also launched an attack. The endless power of chaos spewed out of his body, turning into light spots one by one like rain falling. Every drop of the power contained in it is enough to hurt the body of the 8th realm. One player controls the output of the other, the division of labor between the two of you is quite clear. Suwu chuckled and raised his right cord high. Above the index finger, the ring of the contract suddenly burst into colorful light. In the next second, the dragon roar of chaos evil and the light rain attack of chaos order passed through Suwu's body. Seeing this scene, chaos evil suddenly froze. Of course, he wasn't surprised by Suwu's move. As an 8th realm, there are countless tricks with his cards. It is completely understandable to switch from reality to avoid attacks. What really baffled him was the familiarity of the move. The moment he saw it so familiarly, a name subconsciously popped up in his mind. Through the mirror. I remembered it all at once. Suwu smiled, and seemed not surprised by this reaction. Since you can remember the name of this move, you must be able to think of its effect. The Chaos Evil launched a new attack while recalling everything about the name. Being able to impress him means that this move can threaten the 8th realm. Moves of this level should only be available to those who are also in the 8th realm. However, to the surprise of Chaos, even though he searched through all the relevant memories, he couldn't recall the information related to this move. Even the name that popped up by accident at the beginning kept fading and disappearing in his mind at this moment. Spiritual hint. The evil of Chaos widened his eyes and finally realized, when did it happen? Relying on the colorful light emitted by the ring of contract, Su Wu avoided all the attacks of Chaos Evil and Chaos Order without any pressure. Slowly raising the ice sword in his hand, the brilliance of the omnipotent strike bloomed again, illuminating the entire chaos. Even if you ask me, I can't answer. After all, the person who did this is long gone. Chaos Evil frowned, not here anymore? You mean the Lord of all laws? Chi. Before the evil of Chaos could finish speaking, the crashing sound suddenly rang in her ears. The body froze in place, and the evil of Chaos looked at the point of the sword stabbing out of his chest in confusion. How can it be? He widened his eyes, with an expression of disbelief on his face. You actually managed to hide from my perception. There was a bang, and a terrifying shock wave came from the side. Seeing that the little brother he had just received was severely injured, the Eye of Chaos, which had been secretly accumulating power, exploded decisively. The power of Chaos turned into a beam of light, and it fell head-on with terrifying power. It's useless. Su Wu chuckled, and the ring of contract in his hand burst into colorful brilliance again. The chaotic light cannon passed through his body and landed on the Chaos Evil beside him. Chaos Evil. Without the slightest chance to react, Chaos Evil, who had just been stabbed in the back by Su Wu, flew out backwards. Cracks appeared in the indestructible dragon's body, and the terrifying momentum fell to the bottom in an instant. You idiot! Don't you know how to hit someone? The face of Chaos Evil instantly twisted. Originally, Su Wu's blow caused him to be severely injured. Unexpectedly, Chaos Order came to make up the knife. Under this combination of doubles, even Chaos Evil couldn't help but get angry. It's useless. Su Wu showed a playful look. Even if I can't make any deep hints to that guy, it's still possible to make his attack trajectory a little bit skewed. Don't get too complacent. BD. The evil of Chaos stood up again, and thick black mist gushed out from the wound continuously, healing the wound on his body. I've already remembered, UBD is using the power of that dreamy guy. Although I don't know what your relationship is, I won't be fooled a second time. Oh. Su 983 Wu raised his eyebrows. Are you sure? You can try again. A ferocious expression appeared on the face of Chaos Evil. This time I will grab your head and tear you into pieces. Chi. Chaos Evil. Seeing the sword tip reappearing on his chest, the Chaos Evil, who was slapped in the face by the speed of light, fell silent. How can it be? The spirit hinted at this kind of thing, and he had just untied it. Even in order to prevent him from getting caught, he used the black mist shield specially created for dreams. Why are you still recruited? Why don't you talk? On the other side, there is no calendar area to activate the ring of contract. Su Wu sneered while avoiding the attack from Chaos Order. Is it because you didn't see how you got caught? Then I'll show you one more time, but... Su Wu paused slightly, killing intent appeared in his eyes in vain. This time, I will completely cut you in two. The evil of Chaos was startled, and subconsciously wanted to leave the place. But before that, the sword of extreme cold that cuts off everything in the world has fallen first. Chi. P.S. I have been in a coma all day, confirmed. PS2, there are 2 chapters today, and the next chapter will be updated in 1 to 2 hours. Chapter 585 Devouring the Evil of Chaos, the Last Enemy. What happened? Seeing his own body cut in two, the eyes of Chaos Evil were full of confusion. There are no psychic hints, nor any trace of hallucinations. Without warning, Su Wu's attack landed on him, cutting him in half. On the other hand, without the interference of Chaos Evil, Su Wu will undoubtedly have a lot easier to deal with the remaining Chaos Eyes. In just a few strokes, he temporarily trapped the opponent in the ice prison, and he himself came in front of the evil of chaos. Sure enough, it is right to deal with the head of the demon god first. Compared to that guy, you are much slower. What the hell did you do? The black mist and cold current blocked it, and the evil of chaos, who had failed to restore his body, glared at Su Wu angrily. Why didn't I notice your attack? That's why I said, you are really dull enough. Su Wu shook his head, put his palms into the opponent's head and began to grope. Since you have said the name of Dream before, you should get rid of his influence initially. Didn't you notice that your origin has been tampered with? Of course I noticed it. The evil of chaos was full of resignation, but the effect of that power is at most to interfere with part of my memory. It is impossible for me not to notice your attack. Normally, it does. After extracting the source of the opponent, Su Wu put it in front of the ring of contract. It's not just that ray of power. It's like the Lord of 10,000 Arts left items such as the Demon God Tower. Before the dream completely fell, it also left a part of the legacy. The ring of contract is one of this part of inheritance. It is different from most of the items that are used to screen qualified personnel and help them through the early development. The ring of contract not only helps Su Wu better manage people and make subordinates. The real role of the opponent is to use it against the head of the demon god and the evil of chaos. This top-level chaotic secret treasure contains the real power zone of the dream of the 8th level powerhouse. Once activated, Su Wu can resonate with the power of dreams in the head of the demon god and the evil origin of chaos, thereby increasing its influence. You think that ray of power in your original source can at most help me use a magic trick in the first place to launch a sneak attack without your perception. But in fact, that's just a way for me to set up a trap to make you misunderstand. And when your cognition is wrong, it's the time for me to really activate this ray of power. As the name suggests, the power of dreams is essentially fantasy. Since the truth can be turned into nothingness, the Lord of all laws can be saved. Naturally, it can also turn nothingness into reality and attack the enemy. It was the first time to complete a sneak attack with the help of the mirror. The second time turned nothingness into reality and completed the sneak attack. The success of the two attacks allowed Su Wu to plant a hint in the mind of Chaos Evil. As long as Su Wu launches an attack, the evil of chaos will absolutely be unable to evade the hint. This is the truth of the last blow. It's over, Chaos Evil. Torn the source of the evil of chaos into two pieces, one part of Su Wu was directly stuffed into the body to swallow, and the other part was stuffed into the ring of the contract. The two act side by side, digesting the origin of the evil of chaos. The emotion of rising strength emerged in Su Wu's heart. Unlike when he devoured the head of the demon god, Su Wu did not have the will to completely defeat the evil of chaos. Even if the source was swallowed, he still didn't die completely, but tried to cooperate with the inside and the outside. Distract Su Wu's attention, let him lose in the next battle with Chaos Order, and then devour him in turn. But at the same moment when the evil of chaos acted, an ice lotus appeared in Su Wu's mind. The refreshing coolness spread to the surroundings, and the negative emotions permeating Su Wu's mind disappeared in an instant as if he had touched the Emperor of Heaven. Kang Yu's backhand. Su Wu remained silent for a moment, and then reacted instantly. Even if an external force like the evil of chaos can fight back, Kang Yu, who is integrated with Su Wu, can naturally do similar things. Knowing that Su Wu would face the evil of chaos next, she used the remaining power to create a barrier before falling asleep completely to ensure that Su Wu's emotions remained calm at all times. It seems that the last chance can be reserved for the time being. Su Wu glanced at the ring of the contract in his hand, and there was no longer any power to imbue dreams. The power left by the opponent is naturally not unlimited. If you use it once, you will lose 1 point. Before fighting against the evil of chaos and the eye of chaos, he pushed the dream power in the ring to the limit and almost wiped it out. The remaining fantasy power is basically only enough for him to activate it again. Originally, he was going to suppress the counterattack of the evil of chaos. Since there is Kang Yu's backup, it's better to keep it temporarily. The next words will be you. Suwu turned his gaze to the eye of chaos in the sky. When Suwu completely solved the evil of chaos, the other party had already broken free from the shackles of the ice prison. Perhaps because it was judged that Suwu could not be defeated by himself, the Eye of Chaos had given up the fight, and was now unsealing the barrier in an attempt to go back and integrate with the main body. But since you dare to set up a prison, you must be prepared to be trapped by the prison. Kang Yu, the head of the demon god, and the evil of chaos are two avatars of the 8th level chaos order. At this moment, Suwu, who has digested 5 8th level people, the little chaos in his body has grown to a very large scale in a short period of time. This is definitely at the top level in the 8th realm, very close to the former Lord of 10,000 Laws. Facing a doppelganger, Suwu is sure to hit it head-on in a short time, Qian's collapse. In fact, it is true. It only took Suwu half a day from the start of the battle to the end, to crush it. In this way, there will be no worries at all. Devouring the newly obtained pieces of Chaos Order, Suwu looked into the depths of chaos while adapting to the huge power in his body. The avatar of the Chaos Order left in the outside world, the evil of chaos and the head of the demon god who may backstab again at a critical moment. All the hidden dangers were cleared up by him in a short time. Now the remaining enemies are only the main body of Chaos Order and the Lord of Myriad Laws. Of course, whether the Lord of 10,000 Laws is an enemy or not is still a question mark. It's time to meet up. After calming down his fluctuating heart, Suwu disappeared in place. The final direction will depend on the attitude of the other party. Chapter 586 I Am Chaos. The deepest part of chaos. The battle between the Lord of all Laws and the Chaos Order continues. The law runes continue to evolve through the power of almighty power, and the embryonic forms of worlds crash down. The endless power of chaos vented out, swallowing up all political forces. No sound erupted, and the silent annihilation continued to spread towards the surroundings. Even the Lord of Myriad Laws, who has burnt the source and sublimated it to the utmost, has no choice but to retreat in the face of such power. But although it appeared to be beaten unilaterally on the surface, it was actually beaten unilaterally. But the mood of the Lord of 10,000 Laws was unexpectedly good at the moment. Compared to just now, the breath has suddenly declined a lot. It seems that the last clone of Chaos Order scattered outside has also been resolved. The Lord of all Laws secretly observed the state of Chaos Order. It seems that the little guy named Suwu is quite efficient. With the entire chaos as the source of energy, the power of the chaotic order can be regarded as infinite to some extent. Even if it is a part of the body that is separated, it can also have the strength of the 8th realm by virtue of the accumulation of energy. But that's just energy. In order to be able to carry this energy, the body separated by chaos order cannot be regenerated. The avatars were defeated one after another. Even if it was chaos order, its power would inevitably decline. This allowed the Master of 10,000 Laws, who had been beaten up, to have room to breathe. The next thing is to compare endurance. The Lord of 10,000 Laws thought, I can maintain this state for about 3 days. If that little guy can come before the time limit, he will have a chance to suppress chaos order. If it's late, hey. The thoughts in the back of my mind kept flickering, and the Lord of Myriad Laws suddenly raised his head to look at the distant edge. Although it was very inconspicuous, an insignificant black spot appeared there at the same time as he moved his sight. In the next instant, this black dot transformed into a figure, staring at him across the air. You came much sooner than I expected. Even though it was only the first time they met, the Lord of 10,000 Laws still felt a familiar atmosphere from Suwu. That is the calendar area that the late old friend, Dream is best at. First meeting, Lord of 10,000 Laws. On the other side, Su, who was targeted by the Chaos Order at the same time he reappeared, cooperated with the Lord of 10,000 Laws to deal with the opponent's attack. The self-introduction and the like are omitted, and I sent it to you with the help of information before. The threat from the outside world has been cleaned up by me. What are you going to do next? Do you have any plans? Plan? The Lord of 10,000 Laws glanced at Su suspiciously. I'm stuck here every day and can't do anything, shouldn't you prepare that kind of thing? Su. The Lord of 10,000 Laws understood, it seems that you haven't thought about it. No way, there is no reference at all. Su replied, the 8th level will attract the attention of the Chaos Order, so before today, my power is controlled at the 7th level at most. And the power of Chaos Order is half a level higher than that of the 8th realm. No matter how imaginative I am, I can't make a plan without intelligence. On the contrary, you have already made a move against Chaos Order, and even almost succeeded. You should have thought about it a long time ago. I'll find a way to help you suppress the opponent. How about you take the opportunity to devour him? It's not as easy as you said. Maybe it's because I haven't communicated with other people for a long time, the Lord of 10,000 Laws laughed. Chaotic order has no consciousness and no consciousness, but that doesn't mean it can be easily devoured. In the process of devouring, you are equivalent to merging with this chaos. Under the precipitation of time, you must bear the weight of this chaos together. Maybe I would try it in the past, but forget it now, I can't do it. Are you going to give up the position of eternal ruler? Su narrowed his eyes. I am a helper carefully selected by Dream, you don't need to test me. I didn't try. Seeming to understand what Su was thinking, Wan Faziyang shook his head. If possible, I would like to try again. But the failure of that battle and the death of Meng Meng caused a crack in my will. Combined with the passing of countless years and the burning of the source, it is impossible for me to take on this chaotic area now. You are the only one, simple as that. Is that so? Su frowned slightly, feeling his hand for the first time. Eternal Master, no one can refuse this position. But the risks taken in this process are really too great. I thought that the Lord of 10,000 Laws could do it, but now it seems that the situation is much more difficult than expected. It seems that you are scruples about my existence. The voice of the Lord of all Laws sounded again. Are you worried that I will take advantage of your actions to backstab and swallow your power to restore myself? Or worry about your own failure, and completely lose the chance to stand up from now on? Su, Ajeb, Wu replied without hesitation, there are all of them. Understandable. The Lord of 10,000 Laws still had a smile on his face. I have a solution here, do you want to listen to it? Su looked at him, speak. The solution is simple. Since I make you feel anxious, it's fine as long as I don't exist. With a bang, terrifying power erupted from the Lord of 10,000 Laws. He, who had been suppressed by the chaotic order, vented the huge power of chaos and gathered into huge stars. The dazzling thin lines spread continuously among the stars, connecting them into a whole, blocking all the oncoming attacks. From the beginning of the battle, the Lord of 10,000 Laws broke out with all his strength for the first time and launched a counterattack. Swallowing Chaos Order is actually very simple, as long as you can blow up its body and grab the core. I used to gather all the power of the 8th realm to do this. It's just that in the process of devouring, it was interrupted by the sneak attack of the evil of chaos, which led to the recovery of the Chaos Order and failed. Now there are only 2 of us in the 8th realm present. If we want to reproduce that scene, one of us must withstand the pressure, smash the body of chaos and order and let the other swallow it. Looking at Su at the side, the Lord of Myriad Laws said lightly, I don't know what's going on with you, but I can do it with all my strength. But as a price, I will lose all my strength and fall into an eternal sleep, until I am awakened one day in the future. How? Do you want to take a gamble, Trust me and swallow it in one breath. Or stay here with me to trap the chaos and order, waiting for the outside world to create a new 8th realm. Let's do it. Suwu gave the answer. It is impossible for him to wait for the birth of a new 8th realm. Leaving aside the time required for this process, the character of the newly born 8th realm is very uncontrollable. Compared with the other party, the Lord of 10,000 Laws has a higher degree of trust on his side. On the other side, after hearing Suwu's answer, the life of 10,000 Laws suddenly laughed out loud. To make a decision so quickly, it seems that my trust level is not bad. Don't worry, since you are willing to trust me, I will naturally give you a satisfactory ending. After the words fell, the master of method began to burn the source desperately. The power of chaos swayed out as if it didn't cost money, and the scale of the defensive circle began to expand slowly. Within the magic circle, miniature magic circles emerged out of thin air, forming a new type of magic circle that was not inferior in scale to the defensive magic circle. Hold this well, remember to seize the opportunity. If you miss it, Chaos Order will instantly repair your body and restore your combat power. Throwing a piece of jade towards Suwu, the Lord of 10,000 Laws walked to the center of the circle and turned into the eye of a needle. In the next moment, the defensive magic circle that had been constantly resisting the attack suddenly exploded with a power that moved the entire chaos. At this moment, Suwu realized the true face of this defensive circle. The method used by this magic circle to resist the attack of the chaotic order turned out to be devouring. With the help of the Lord of all Laws body and auxiliary artifacts, all the attacks from the chaos order were sealed. At this moment, the defensive circle exploded with all the attacks it had just absorbed, and charged towards the chaos and order together with the attack of the Lord of all Laws. With the superposition of the two, the defense of chaos order was easily pierced like thin paper. Far surpassing the power of Suwu's omnipotent blow, it landed on the surface of the chaotic order, and the huge eyeball shattered instantly, revealing the grey mist inside the eyeball. At the same time, the jade in Suwu's hand shone brightly, and a lot of information appeared in his mind. All are means of absorbing the grey mist. As an existence that was only one step away from success, the Lord of Methods naturally had a unique view on absorbing the grey mist. Coupled with the improvements over the years, this method has even evolved into a cultivation method, which can maximize the use of internal power when absorbing the grey mist, and make up for its own consumption. It's really a great gift. Suwu sighed slightly, took a step forward and appeared in front of the grey mist. To be honest, he really didn't expect the Lord of 10,000 Laws to give up that position so easily. He didn't even expect that the other party would directly burn the source to sacrifice his life in order to make him feel at ease, smashing the body of the chaotic order. It can be said that every move of the other party is stepping on the one with the lowest probability among the all-knowing options. Now I seem to be able to understand why Dream's last words didn't state your character too much. In just a few minutes of contact, Suwu understood what kind of person the Lord of 10,000 Laws is. Let's start. Grasping the grey mist, Suwu mobilized the method in the jade and began to absorb it. In the next moment, endless memories flooded towards Suwu. That is the memory from chaos, from the countless years of precipitation and accumulation of chaos. Starfish-like memories kept coming in, and Suwu himself was like a solitary boat floating on the rough sea, shaking constantly. Once he fails to resist this memory, he himself will be assimilated by the chaotic order and become a part of it. But at the same time as this piece of memory flooded in, the ice lotus in Suwu's mind slowly bloomed again. Unlike the time of chaos evil, she didn't exude any power this time. So calmly standing in the depths of Suwu's mind, and together with Suwu, bear the wash of this memory. Noticing this, Suwu, who was still trying to maintain himself, paused slightly, and his consciousness that was still shaken stabilized instantly. Really, it's still doing something like this in the end. In the deepest part of his consciousness, Suwu came to sit down in front of Binglian. Tell me earlier that there is such a trick, what should I be afraid of? It seems that as long as there is this ice lotus, he is invincible. Average. Suwu closed his eyes leisurely, with a smile on his face. Unfortunately, you can't speak now. But it's okay, I just happened to be busy before, and I didn't tell you about some of the experiences I encountered during my reincarnation. Haven't you always been curious? Just take this opportunity to tell you. Chaos does not remember years, and hundreds of millions of years pass in the blink of an eye. After a long time, the existences in the chaos basically forgot about this battle to shake the chaos. Only a very few existences are still looking forward to someone's return. Oh, it's Shirauri. Under the blood moon, the petite girl slowly opened her eyes and looked at her friend standing not far away. Didn't you say you were going to search for delicious food in the chaos? Why did you come back so soon? You slept too long. Bai Ji smiled. It's time for the gathering once every 10,000 years, and even Faith has arrived. Only you, a slacker, are still sleeping. Has another 10,000 years passed so quickly? Flicking the thread of fate in front of him, Macefield let out a lazy breath. It's still the same, nothing has changed in the depths of the chaos. Then get up too. Bai Ji picked up Macefield. This is a rare gathering, if you don't come, it will be too disappointing. I didn't say no. Breaking free from Shirauri's grip, Macefield complained. Really, when will that guy Suwu come back? If this continues, I will try my best to break through to the 8th realm and go to the depths of the chaos to find him. Want to compare? A smile flashed in Bai Zi's eyes. I have the confidence to break through before you. Macefield suddenly fell silent. It's no match. Strange, it doesn't fit your character. Bai Ji said unexpectedly, I thought you would straighten your chest, confidently and slowly say I won't lose. Do you treat me like a child? Macefield rolled his eyes. I said it's not because I'm afraid, but because there's no need for that. Why? Bai Ji's eyes widened suddenly. You mean? That's right. Macefield said with a smile, it's over. After the voice fell, a mysterious fluctuation came from the depths of the chaos. In just an instant, this fluctuation spread throughout the entire chaos. Including Macefield, everyone felt their bodies sank slightly, and felt an extremely terrifying existence awaken. From today, I am chaos. P.S. Flowers at the end. PS2, originally, I wanted to write a few extra chapters and make up some settings, such as the past of the protagonist and the birth of Kang Yu, but after thinking about it, I decided to forget it. I have been fishing for a month. I'm going to start a new book seriously, so I won't write more here. PS3, apart from that, there is still a lot I want to say. In fact, the completion of this book was somewhat unexpected. This book is the third book I have written since I wrote the book, and it is also the first book I decided to write full-time after graduation, the first book with thousands of subscriptions, and the first book with more than 1 million words. All the way to write, a lot of emotion. Of course, the biggest feeling is I am such a special dish. This book was okay in the early stage, but in the later stage, due to various reasons, I wrote blood collapse, the main line deviates, the cool point is missing, Wenking disease, since. In short, I opened 3 times a while ago, and when this page was updated with 1,000 words every day, 30 or 40 readers who insisted on reading it were really amazing, Well, in fact, there are still many things that can be written. After all, I can write whatever I want to write after I wake up. But it has to be just right, so I gave an ending when I felt that it was almost done. Thinking about it carefully, I am also surprised, the new book that was updated after the next door was open, can be just 6 or 7,000 meters a month. I just finished it early and came back to write this fruit for half a month. However, he is still not cruel enough. In short, this book has a lot of special meaning to me, and it is over anyway. The new book will be published on other small accounts or other places, and this account will stop here. Of course, it is not ruled out that one day in the future, the possibility of using this account to publish a book again. PS4, that's about all I have to say, see you later if you are destined, pick up, laughs. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.